This is Chicago Hockey Radio with your hosts, Justin Lynch, Charlie Weber, Natalie Chibi, and Andrew Nolan.
Welcome back, CHR enjoyers. Happy CHR Monday. Let's go, baby. Happy to be here, back for week 3 of CHR action. Preseason hockey underway around the league. Preseason hockey on the horizon for the Blackhawks Tuesday, playing the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit sucks, baby.
Yep, the dirty D.
Yes, sir. Lots to get into today. We got Vinnie Paresi coming on in the NHL Hour to talk Blackhawks hockey. He writes about the Blackhawks for the Hockey News. Childhood me used to really read up on the Hockey News all the time. I used to get their magazine subscriptions and stuff. I don't really do so anymore, but no, I was a big fan. So I definitely check in his articles every now and then. So I'm looking forward to having him on the NHL Hour, talking Blackhawks during the NHL Hour. So a little bit of a change in pace there. Yeah.
Not a magazine guy anymore, huh?
Nah, not much of a magazine guy. I mean, everything's online now, so I feel like there's no need to really purchase physical copies of magazines anymore. It's just not really necessary. But anyway, that's just a digression. Really looking forward to getting going today. But before you do, subscribe to the CHR YouTube channel if you haven't already. I believe we're at 973 now. We are 27 away from 1,000. Jeremy Roenick reference. So we're getting there.
Lucas Reichel reference.
That's right, baby. Old Lucas Reichel reference, right? Yeah. 973 could also be a Lucas Reichel reference. Yeah. And it looks like, veering to my left here, it looks like we have Tassos Kirkos joining the show here. Yeah, I see him on the mic.
I just figured I would make myself available on a microphone.
For sure,
welcome.
Good to see you there. And also a friendly reminder to like this video if you haven't already, share it around. We appreciate that. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, we really appreciate if you leave us a 5-star rating and review. That really feeds families here for us. It really helps us out a lot. So we really appreciate that. Also, CHR merch drop. You can check out CHR merch on the alithio.com website. We really appreciate that.
www.alithionetwork.com. You go to the shop link, I think it is.
Yeah,
that's right.
The section is called shop.
Yeah. So please buy some merch because it helps us out a lot. But yeah, oh my gosh, guys, we really need some merch sales. So we're going to start making Justin do some extraordinary things. I don't want to be in the shot. I don't want to be in the shot. No. That's why I came over here.
A little camera work going on.
Yeah. No. I didn't want to be in the shot. Yeah.
All right.
Where are we starting today, boys?
Please buy some merch.
How about, I think, I've got a good area to start. Why don't me and Nolan were at Blackhawks practice yesterday for training camp.
Hell yeah, we were.
Why don't we talk a little bit about that to start and our experiences watching the camp, right?
Yeah, I think it was very fun. I wish they would have, updated the schedules closer to puck drop, just because they had an 8:30 practice time, but no one got on the ice until 9:20.
Yeah, it was 9:30 was the first session, then it went until 1:30, so they just bumped it back an hour. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, no, neither am I, and I mean, I could have used an extra hour of sleep, me personally. So
yeah, I was going to say you definitely did not mind the little delay there.
Yeah,
we don't need to delve into the Nolan lore there.
No, absolutely not. We can get into it, on different segments, but not today. Not today.
I think it's worth getting into some of the main takeaways I had, because there's only so much you could take away from clips you see online and word of mouth. When you actually see these guys in person, up close and personal, you really get a different perspective and really learn a ton. The reports are not exaggerated. Bedard genuinely looks noticeably quicker. He definitely gained a step over the offseason. That was very noticeable. That was good to see. It's good to see that confirmed. I was really impressed with the way he looked.
Yeah, Connor Bedard, it definitely looks like he looks quicker. Obviously, there's a clip floating around online of him doing that nasty little shootout move on that one-on-one.
Who's that from?
I have no idea. I just randomly saw it on Twitter. I think that was from you, actually. No, because you had an angle of it too, didn't you?
I did. I think we got the same angle.
I think we got the same angle, and then I think who else was Riz? Shout out Riz. Riz also got got an angle of it. So the 3 best influencers in Hawks in the Hawks mediaverse.
Yeah, that's the.
What are you talking about? I don't want to hear it, Mr. Leafs fan. I do not want to hear it from you this morning.
That's the 3 Dragons meme with me and Riz, and then you were just kind of in the corner there.
I mean, obviously he looked extremely quick, but again, you can only take so much going up against Ryan Mast, who is down or who is pretty much. I don't think he'll ever be a Hawk. I think he'll be an Ice Hog / Fuel legend. But I mean, he looked good. I think he was the chemistry with Donato really hasn't been lost. I think yesterday as well, Burakovsky was out of the lineup and Colton Dock was in the lineup. I think Colton Dock looked pretty good.
Yeah, like I like Doc. I don't really want to see him on the top line with Connor Bedard.
No, absolutely not.
But if he has to be put there, fine. You know which line impressed me the most by far was the Lucas Reichel, Ryan Green, and Oliver Moore line. That one was super impressive.
Is that the reincarnation of the 2015 Tampa Bay Lightning triplets line or what?
I mean, just the speed of that line was super noticeable, and like the chemistry was there. They were finding each other. There was this one little tic-tac-toe play they had that was really special. Again, just practice, but that line was noticeable pretty much every time that they were out.
Yeah,
I'd like
would
to
agree.
see them give that line reps in the preseason for
No,
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was also very interesting too that they had Sam Savoie with Nick Foligno yesterday. Really, I think it was those two and Sam Lafferty were the three forwards. And I mean, those are all three guys who will, or well, at least the latter two guys will factor into the lineup.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Savoie. I mean, I imagine he's going to at least start the season in Rockford, but that's a guy maybe down the road could be a fourth-line grinder type of guy.
He reminds me so much of the way that Andrew Shaw plays.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have the type of... Because Shaw, like...
He won't have that type of impact.
Yeah.
I don't believe so, but I just think that, Sam Savoie, he plays that style of game where he's like sandpaper to play against with also having an upside, an edge offensively, and having a really good celly game.
Yeah, for sure. Like an underrated aspect of his game was his production, Shawzy. So if Savoie could provide a little bit of that would be nice. But it's mostly just, like you said, just kind of the dog in his game. Like he's a guy who's going out there to kind of to hurt you.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're gonna feel his impact going into next Tuesday, kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah. I was. What were you going to say?
I was just going to ask you guys because I don't see a whole lot about Artie in these notes. How'd you guys find him on the ice yesterday?
Well, there was a funny clip where he and Foligno sort of got to each other a little bit. I would say he and Foligno, there was quite a bit of back and forth between the two in practice. You could tell Foligno was trying to get under his skin a little bit, kind of try to rile him up a little bit. And I think the two had some learning moments there. I think Foligno just trying to kind of lead the way there and steer the ship. So I thought they had some nice little moments of dialogue. I couldn't tell you what they were talking about, but you could tell Foligno has definitely been coaching him up. A lot of these young guys just trying to be sort of a model for him. Yeah, for sure.
I would agree with that. I think he looked good with Kaiser. I think it was nice seeing him and Kaiser together. Vlasic and Renzel was the other pair that is no, it was Del Mastro and Renzel, right?
It was. Yeah.
It was Del Mastro and Renzel, and I mean that pairing, I really, really like that pairing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Renzel is a top pair guy, and Del Mastro is more of a third pair. Like, I'd like to see Vlasic and Renzel. I think Vlasic, Renzel, Kaiser, Levshinov, like that's your clear cut top four, and then the rest can kind of work itself out for that third pair and beyond. But I like what I saw from that Vlasic Renzel pairing last year, so I'd like to see us, stick with that.
I would agree, but I just think that Del Mastro looks really good.
I would say, like, in terms of like the kind of the leaderboard for that sixth defenseman slot, I would say he's probably leading that right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like he's impressed me more than Allen, Crevier, and guys like that. So from that standpoint, so far you're looking right there. So far, I know you've always been on his train.
I'm a big Ethan Del Mastro guy. I think he takes a very big jump this season.
And I would say Kaiser, like fresh off the contract extension, real smooth out there.
Real smooth.
Like he just kind of glides out there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Shout out Patrick Kane.
Shout out Patty Kane. Shout out Duncan Keith.
I'm glad you guys got that reference.
Real smooth.
That was a good Gatorade commercial back in the day. No free ads, but
no free ads.
I did like that commercial back in the day. And another takeaway: Nick Lardis will be on this team at some point. I don't think it's going to be
100%.
October 7th against Florida. But in the 2026 portion of the season, I'm going to call my shot right now. We will be seeing Nick Lardis on the Blackhawks. Like he was easily for me, like amongst like the prospect showcase guys who hadn't already made their Hawks debuts. He was by far the most impressive for me. At practice and just the compete level. Like I know there's some question marks of Nick Lardis from scouts in that regard, but like he was showing serious compete. He was throwing his body around. He was getting involved in all aspects. So that's what you want to see from him. I mean, he's going to make the team if he can kind of assert himself throughout the ice there, not just the offensive zone.
And I just think the connection between Lardis and Nazar has been building for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And yesterday was another great example of it. I mean, those two were they were on fire together.
Yeah, they definitely had some moments. There was definitely a connection.
But also at the same time, Nazar looked unreal with Tyler Bertuzzi and Teuvo Teravainen.
That's another guy we're talking about. Bertuzzi's a guy I definitely have increased expectations of this year. In okay season last year, he wasn't really good or bad. He was just mid. I think he had 23 goals, 23 assists for 46 points in 80 games, which, I mean, was pretty comparable to his stats the year before in Toronto. But increased role. I'd like to see a little more from him on this team. He just has to get off to a better start.
I want to see consistency. I mean, there was a stretch in the middle of the season there where he didn't score for like he didn't score there for like 20 games.
But there was another stretch where it felt like every game he was getting on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
When they were playing that Bertuzzi, Nazar, Bedard line in like January, I believe it was January. That line they really had something going.
I think if he's scoring every third game, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, like he's a guy who should be getting between 25 to 30 goals. Like I think that's pretty doable for him.
And I think his role will increase this season just because of how Blashill, him and Blashill have a lot of history together.
Yeah, and he just looked really refreshed out there. Even dare I say, he actually had some decent pace, which is definitely something that we didn't see much from him last year. So maybe he's feeling a bit refreshed with the coaching change. Like you brought up Jeff Blashill. He had his best season in the NHL under Jeff Blashill. I believe it was the 1920 season. I believe he had 30 goals, 32 assists, 62 points, 68 games that year. So he was around a point per game under Blashill. So I think he's probably pretty excited to have him back, and he definitely looks motivated in camp for sure. So I like that second line a lot. Bertuzzi, Teuvo, and Nazar. We saw that a lot towards the end of the season last year, and they've been rolling that in camp a lot as well. And I've been really impressed with what I've seen from that line.
Yeah, I mean, Bertuzzi's obviously been with Blashill before. I feel like, he came into this camp knowing that the conditioning was going to be a step up and everything. Maybe Bertuzzi was just like, I'm not going to let it, hit a wall in the first week of practice. I'm just going to be ready for him, skating us the whole practice.
Yeah, credit to him. He was ready. He looked really good. And he was finishing, too. Like, his shot, he definitely worked on a shot a bit of the last season. That puck was flying off his stick. So a lot of his goals last year came with, like, tip-ins in front of the net or rebounds, deflections. But he was firing the puck, too. So that's good to see. He'll be able to score more goals that way, not just, standing around in front of the net waiting for Bedard to get him tap-ins. So nice to see him get involved in the play there. And they were also rolling the Dickinson, Mikheyev, Slaggert line a lot. You could kind of tell they want that to be your sort of fourth line shutdown type defensive line this year. And again, hard to say in practice how that's going to translate. But Jason Dickinson, the guy, has always been a good penalty kill guy. I think of a guy like Sam Lafferty as well. Good. That's a big reason why they brought him back. I think is for his PK work, his conditioning, his speed. Very much the Kyle Davidson-esque player. Davidson even joked about that in the presser. It was like, yeah, we're going to make this an annual tradition. It's the third time we brought him back. Second time we actually play because the last time we brought him back, he signed in Buffalo. Which lesson learned there: don't sign in Buffalo. It's never really a good idea. But he learned his lesson. He's back now, and he played some good hockey at the Hawks. 21, 22, 22, 23. So definitely, excited to have him back again. Fourth line role. And do I really want to see him take time away from young guys? No. But if he could contribute and help him out, then I'm happy with it.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
for sure. And but yeah, no, I think that line definitely has potential for sure. Foligno's another guy who's a good penalty killer. This team definitely. You think about Nazar as well. Like I think special teams has some promise this year.
Special teams was the big get for last year's team. I mean, the power play looked good under Sorensen. The penalty kill. I mean, Ilya Mikheyev became such a great shorthanded scorer. I mean, he had 3 or 4 goals. Foligno had 2 or 3 goals. He had that. Foligno had that really nice one against the Jets in the last home game that I saw live where Hellebuck
crashed into him.
way out of his net. And I mean, Foligno just basically, it was a tap-in from 50 feet away.
The second I saw that goal, I was like, Hellebuck's warming up for the playoffs. That was playoff Hellebuck right there. So that was classic. But no, we got some units, some line combinations rolling here as the Blackhawks are playing preseason hockey tomorrow against the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit.
Detroit sucks.
That's right. Detroit does suck, baby. And they were scrimmaging in training camp practice today. So we got some lines today, some new look lines, actually. I like this first one. We got Moore, Bedard, and Reichel together. Nazar, Bertuzzi, Teuvo. So they're still rolling that line. Doc, Donato, Lardis, Joey Anderson, Dickinson, Mikheyev, and Foligno, Green, Lafferty. So you could tell they're kind of going for that shutdown line, Foligno, Green, Lafferty, PK line, whatever you want to call it, defensive line. But I like Moore and Reichel with Bedard. I hope they roll that in the preseason game. I hope that wasn't just for training camp scrimmage. That could be a fun line. I like that.
I definitely would love to see that tomorrow night against Detroit. Do we know what the Detroit lineup's going to look like tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I'll look into that. But hopefully we'll see Kaner and DeBrincat. That would be nice.
That would be very cool.
Those two are cooking. The Red Wings are doing a scrimmage this weekend, and I saw the Kane Cat connection get on the board a couple times. So
with Marco Casper, right?
Yeah, they're still rolling that Kane Cat Casper line from last year. That was definitely, I'd say, the Wings' top line towards the end of the season. I'm not just saying that because Kane and Cat were there, but they clearly had something rolling with that line there towards the end of the season, and Wings land, and now they're starting it off this year. So
yeah,
I'd like to see them get off to a good start for sure. I'd like to see that, but no, Moore and Reichel, two fast guys to play with Bedsy, who suddenly looks pretty quick himself. Like that could be a pretty fun line.
I thought the offseason training was no joke. I mean, again, it's yesterday. You're going up against AHL defensemen like Ryan Mass, but at the same time, he looks 10 times quicker.
Oh, about 10 times.
That's what it felt like to me, honestly. Like,
he's a step quicker. He's a step quicker.
Yeah,
he's definitely
keeping up with Oliver Moore it's a very clear indication of that. I mean,
that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
He's a blazing fast skater, so that top line is going to be fun to watch in Detroit tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's in Detroit tomorrow night.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then the Doc Donato Lardis line. I like Lardis Donato. That could be a sneaky little connection there.
Yeah, I would have rather seen Lardis play with Nazar, but I definitely think giving Lardis a fair shot to try and get some good looks in the preseason. I love it personally. I love it
for sure. Like again, I think he has an outside shot of making this team, but he definitely has a shot. And I want him to be given those opportunities.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if he shows he's ready, then why not start him on this one?
Why not?
Yeah. But the question is who you're going to bump out. That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. You've got 16 forwards for 12 spots realistically.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of give and take there. Yeah. But yeah, I would like to see. I agree with you though. I would like to see Lardis and Nazar get some reps together during the preseason because those two clearly have a nice connection. We've seen it. We've seen it in the prospect games as well from last year, and we've seen it in training camp as well. So those two clearly got something going together. I'd like to see them get more reps together for sure. Again, this is just scrimmage lines, so I'm not sure if this is what's going to be rolling tomorrow, but we don't have that anything confirmed there, so we're kind of just playing a guessing game there from that standpoint for now.
Charlie, is there a line that you're really looking forward to out of these five here?
I mean, like we talked about, Dickinson, Lafferty, and Mikheyev being a possibility, or Slaggert instead of Lafferty. I mean, just seeing in the first preseason game how that goes with them, and if they are able to be that shutdown line, I think that's really exciting. Because, I mean, we know about the skills guys, obviously. We've seen a lot out of that. But I think once you get into a real game scenario, finding out who those shutdown forward lines are going to be, that'll be... Hopefully that line works out with Dickinson, Mikheyev, and Slaggert. I have a lot of belief in it. Even Foligno could slide in there, but I think that's kind of more what I'll be looking for tomorrow night.
Yeah, we kind of got two shutdown lines here. The Anderson, Dickinson, Mikheyev line is definitely that sort of shutdown line as well. So a lot of spots here, and then not enough for everybody. So
no, not at all. It's
that fight for roster spots in preseason, because that's really what determines it. It's not really training camp practices that are going to determine who makes this lineup. It's the preseason games.
Right.
Like those are more importance. Jeff Blashill spoke about that in the presser. It's really that's kind of how they evaluate where these players are at, who's going to make the team. And we got some D pairs as well. Vlasic, Murphy. I don't know what Murphy's doing with Vlasic there. Hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby, but interesting pair there. And we got Del Mastro, Renzel. That's the pair that you really liked in training camp yesterday, Nolan. So they're going with that. Kaiser, Lepshinov. Those two have been inseparable. They've definitely been trying to develop something there. Grizzly, Crevier. And then Korchinski, Allen. Korchinski, at this point, lowest on the depth chart in terms of defensemen, which is interesting. I will say, he was a guy, again, don't want to take away too much in training camp, but I'd be lying if I claimed I noticed him that much when I was there yesterday. I really didn't notice him that much. So I would say of the young defensemen, I noticed him the least. So that's definitely a guy, for sure, who has a lot of competition, is going to have to earn a spot. He may have to start in Rockford again.
Well, there's two things to said for being noticed as a defenseman. I mean, if you're going unnoticed throughout a game, that could be a good thing.
Yeah, that's
because you're not doing anything wrong.
But you want to be noticed.
But if you're not noticed in training camp at all, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah,
right?
No. So. Again, don't want to overreact. There's always training camp overreactions. You see it in football a lot, So I don't want to do that too much. But again, just observations.
It's like the quote that I took from college, from working in college football last year. Everyone looks good in a t-shirt and shorts, but once you actually put on the pads, you got to make sure
it's a different story.
It's a completely different animal.
I will say this: we got some more input on the reasoning behind the Matt Grzelcyk signing. This is via Ben Pope. Jeff Blashill said Grzelcyk will get a contract if some of the Blackhawks' young defensemen struggle at camp and look like they need AHL time. If they look NHL ready, Grzelcyk probably won't get a contract. So Grzelcyk's more of a Geico insurance policy, no free ads. Like, they're only going to sign him if they need to sign him, which, to be honest, like, if I look at these young defensemen, most of them seem pretty NHL ready to me. You know, there's only 7 spots available, so that leads me to believe it might be more likely he's not signed.
Like a good depth defenseman, Matt Grzelcyk is there.
Exactly, right. You know, we already got the veteran back there in Murphy.
No
so,
free ads.
I don't really think we need him from that standpoint. So, yeah, Grzelcyk, he was all right. You know, I didn't really notice him a ton. This is also sort of a showcase for him where it's like, if it's not the Blackhawks, then other teams can take a look at him and sign him at pretty much any point. So, this is kind of an opportunity for him to show what he's got. Which, again, it's surprising that he's even on a PTO basis, considering he had 40 points. Again, I know he's a defenseman, but 40 points last year is nothing to scoff at. So, the fact he needed PTO in September is kind of shocking to me. But he's not the only one. There's still some good players who are unsigned, like Jack Roslovic, for example. I'm surprised nobody's throwing a PTO on him. But
Jack Roslovic, Miami Redhawk legend.
That's right. That's a topic for NHLR potentially. And then we got some power play units, some special teams units as well from this scrimmage. Some interesting ones. PP1 here. We got Bedard, Tavo, Nazar in the bumper slot, Bertuzzi net front, and Rinzel. I will say, I noticed something with Bedard and Rinzel and camp a lot. They've been pairing those two together a ton. They're definitely trying to develop some chemistry, a connection with those two.
They were on the point together?
Yes, yes.
Cool.
I could see that in the power play a lot. They're trying to develop some chemistry there. I could see Rinzel giving Bedard a ton of 1-2s this year, which will be nice. Some seam passes. So if they could develop some sort of a connection on the special teams, the power play, that would be nice to see. For sure. And then the second unit here, we got Ryan Green, Lucas Reichel, Oliver Moore in the bumper slot, Foligno net front, and Grzelcyk. Why Grzelcyk is getting power play slots there is interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. Maybe they're, planning on, this was the last practice you guys saw. Maybe they have him, slotted in to be in the game for Detroit, so they're getting him ready.
Potentially.
I assume on a PTO basis, they would want him to.
They want to get reps in all situations.
People want to see him play. I'm sure that's kind of the cause for that.
Yeah. That's good analysis.
And I think another thing with Matt Grzelcyk is I want to go back to what Kyle Davidson said on Thursday. Even if he doesn't make this team, it's a showcase for all the 31 other NHL teams.
Sure. No, it's a good point. So,
and I did want to bring up another thing about these power play lines. Where the hell is Nick Lourdes?
Yeah, wait a minute. I mean, there's only so much slots, but I'm curious that, I'd probably have Lourdes in there instead of Green. I feel like Green's more of a penalty kill guy, more of a defensive specialist. I'm not really sure if that's a power play guy. So.
He put up nearly a point per game at BU the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, he was in his third year of college as a drafted NHL player. I would kind of expect that. So I would say Lourdes, a guy who had 70 goals at junior hockey.
I was going to say.
I would say he gets the nod.
You don't want that guy on the man advantage, right?
I would put Lourdes over Reichel. Sorry, Nat. But I just think Lourdes in that right flank. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. That's peanut butter and jelly right there.
Yeah, shout out to Nat. Hope she had a good time at Riot Fest this weekend. But yeah, from Lucas, he's getting opportunities. He's getting a chance. So it's kind of, he has to prove it. He has to take it. That's what Davidson said. I don't know if there's a player who has more pressure on him from that standpoint in this camp than Lucas Reichel. Like, he definitely, his spot in this lineup is not a given. Yeah, he's got to go out and take it. So hopefully he could do that. I will say one little comment. I like Bedard and Nazar together in PP1. Yeah. I think Nazar on PP1 towards the end of the year last year looked good. If you were watching CHR last year, we were calling for Nazar to be moved up to that first unit for like the entire time he was up here.
I was too, yeah.
They waited till the season was over to finally move him up, and good things happen in the power play. So I like to see that. Again, it's just training camp preseason, but that's a good sign. And that's pretty much it for the power play. And then I like Rinzel in the first year. That's one more thing I'll say.
Another thing on the power play I just want to bring up. Obviously, it looks like Teravainen's probably going to take the right flank, right? With that left-hand shot.
The way this is slotted, yes.
But would you be fine with swapping Bedard and having Bedard skate on the right flank and then trying that signature toe drag release on the right? Because it worked very well in juniors.
Per chance, yeah. I mean, I'd be open to.
He said it before that he is more like he is better suited for that.
Who's taking the point?
Rinzel.
Yep. Well, Bedard and Tavo, they had something cook in the power play towards the beginning of the year last year, so I like they're kind of trying to rekindle that, the cross ice seam passes together. So I like to see those two play together more this year. Beyond just the power play even too. But at the moment, it looks like they're still separated. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But we'll see. Again, there'll be a lot of time for experimentation stuff. That's kind of what this is all about. If there's one time to constantly cycle through the lines and stuff, it's preseason.
It's
hockey,
preseason, yeah.
That's figure it out now. Figure out the chemistry and stuff now. Don't figure it out during the season.
I would agree.
That's what we did for pretty much all of last year, and that wasn't ideal. So
No, it did not work that well.
we also got some PK units here. PK1, Nazar, Tavo, Rinzel, Del Mastro. I like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I like Nazar and PK1. He's going to get a lot of chances this year for some. You talked about Mikheyev having a lot of opportunities last year, having some shorthanded goals. I think Nazar is going to get a lot of chances like that.
I mean, if Nazar can finish on his breakaways,
that's
the
big
biggest
thing
thing
for
I'm
him,
looking
yeah.
for this year. I mean, it seemed like he got 1 or 2 breakaways a game.
That's what
and
he has to
he was
unlock.
finishing only 5% of them.
Right. Yeah, so that'll be something for him to work on. Then PK2, we got Sam the Man, Laffy Taffy, Sam Lafferty, Nick Foligno, Matt Grizzlick, and then Louis Crevier. So they're giving Grizzlick both power play and PK reps. Then PK3, we got Ryan Green, Moore, Fitzgerald, and Mass. Those are 2 Ice Hogs players, so I don't have to think much of that. But
The one guy that's missing here, I think, Ilya Mikheyev.
yeah, they might just not be playing him for the first preseason game because
He might just be locked in the penalty kill.
they just already assume. But he doesn't have to earn that spot. He's just locked into it. Yeah,
rather
could
see
be.
what other people can do and try to earn their spot, like Moore and Green,
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
if they're locks on that PK.
Right. We know what Mikheyev could do in the penalty kill. He doesn't really have anything to show there in preseason hockey. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're just kind of automatically penciling him in the slot there. Yeah, for sure.
That would be great. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. And then we got some more news and tidbits here. This is something we probably should be updating throughout the season as we get more. But this is Ben Pope on what Bedard's contract could look like. He said Bedard's second Hawks contract could be negotiated based on percentage of the salary cap. He said it'll almost certainly fall in the 10 to 15% range. So that would mean around 9.4 to 14-ish million. Around
Wow,
there.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I had no idea he would be in that range. 14 million.
Yeah,
that post was so obvious. It's like, yeah, we know he's going to make anywhere between here and this. It's like,
Yeah, I know. It's just I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
I just saw a lot of people reacting to that way. It's like, yeah, we know that's kind of the range already. Like, you kind of giving a $5 million range is pretty generous.
A lot of that is based. It's going to be like 75% of it's going to be based on 90%. Is probably going to be based on this season, not necessarily the last 2. So the ball is kind of in Betsy's court there. This is why I think it's a good thing for him. His motivation this year, he has plenty of motivation because his play is going to determine what that contract looks like. If he has another season like last year, he can't afford to ask for too much more than the 10 million-ish range.
Yeah,
right?
I would agree.
But if he's a point per game or more, he can ask for well over 10
You can
million.
ask for the keys to the city and I give them to him.
Yeah, just with the rising cap and all, and the fact that this team has so much space, and you look at other comparable contracts, like with Nazar and Vlasic, and there's a lot of there's a lot of margin for for him to make more there because we have that much more space, and nobody else on this team is going to make that much money. So
No.
so he definitely has a lot to play for from that regard this year. And then we got some more comments from Jeff Blashill on Blackhawks practice. And this is kind of his rationale for the conditioning drills. You've been seeing him doing the miracle bag skate in practice,
Yeah,
right?
they were doing a couple of those yesterday too.
Yeah, he said some of the best bonding is when you go through struggle together. So that's kind of the rationale there. I liked seeing Bedsy giving the boys fist bumps. We talked about that on Friday.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, that was good to see from him.
Captain material.
Good leadership. He's locked in. Good to see it. You love to see it. I'm definitely stepping up this year from that regard as well. And then one more quote from the press I think is worth noting. This is via Scott Powers, Jeff Blashill on the Blackhawks D-zone coverage. It's a hybrid, that quadrant, get the puck and get out of there. When the puck goes up high, we're going into our man right away, man-on-man coverage. It's different than what they did last year. Not that one system is better than another, but for us personally, we want to be a pressure team when we don't have the puck. 2, we got really big, long defensemen paws that can skate. So let's get them into people right away. So,
pause.
well, to be honest, like watching the Blackhawks the last few years, like we haven't really talked much about defensive structure and systems because like there hasn't really been much of one that's visible. So it's good to see this team at least getting back to the basics. Like even being at practice training camp yesterday, a lot of the drills and stuff they were doing like stuff I did in high school with Ignatius, just like just quicker and better. Yeah. More seamless.
Did it take you back to your glory days?
It really did. Yeah,
I mean, being at Fifth Third too. I mean,
it was good to be back at that rink.
Yeah.
You practice at Fifth Third for high school or Johnny's?
Fifth Third, yeah.
It was
They
open.
just moved there in 17, 18, 19. It was under construction, 17, 18. So we had to practice at like the Odeum rink, which is like it's a while away. And while that was under construction because Johnny's Ice House wasn't available for some reason. But
we were Johnny's De La Salle Meteors.
Yeah, that's me, Lord. Nobody cares. But
we care.
It's all about the D.
We care.
In terms of Blackhawks lore, though, no, at the practice itself, like the intensity was clearly higher. There's no standing around. There's no wasting time. Efficiency was great. So, I'd like to see Blashill. Like the system's going to look different this again. We'll see how it works in practice again. Until then, it's all talk. But he clearly has a plan. Like this guy clearly has a plan. We'll see if it works. He also really wowed this guy. Like just being there at practice yesterday. This guy has like the most coaching voice.
Yeah.
Like his voice like echoes in the room. Like now he's a loud man, which I guess is what you want out of a coach. So
a leader of men, as they say.
Yeah, again, don't want to overreact to training camp, but so far I am liking what I'm seeing from this new staff. They just seem to have a handle on things. So
absolutely, I thought there was another cool tidbit too in the second group. Chris Kunitz, former Blackhawk legend, was
out there. Yeah,
he was like hopping into line rushes at one point.
Yeah, because he's still working at the team in like a dev role, right?
Yeah, player development. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to see. Yeah, it's good to see Blackhawks legend Chris Kunitz.
Blackhawks legend.
He played his last season, 17-18, at the Hawks, I believe.
Yes, that would be correct. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Two-time Cup champion, Chris Kunitz. Correct.
There you go.
So three-time Cup champion, right?
All three.
Yeah, he was on the 2009 Pens. I believe he was on 16-17 as well, right?
Okay. Yeah. No, you
I
are
think.
right.
Yeah, somebody could fact check me on that. I think I'm right about that.
That's what we need in the dev group, though. Some championship experience. That's good.
Kunitz's probably biggest career moment is his Eastern Conference Final overtime game winner against the Senators in 2017, which they hadn't gone back to the playoffs until this past season, until that moment. So. No, he had a hell of a career, mostly at the Pens, but obviously, as we do as Blackhawks fan, we will refer to him as a Blackhawks legend.
Absolutely.
I mean, he chose to work with the Hawks after his career, so clearly he just really enjoyed that one season he played in Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. That's funny. And how about some prospect talk here? We'd be remiss if we didn't do some prospect talk. Another Roman Kanserov goal. I'm surprised I beat you to this, Nolan. Would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. As the resident Roman Kanserov truther on the podcast, deflection goal in the 5-4 game over CSKA Moscow on Saturday morning. Or was that yesterday?
I believe it was Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning. Yeah. His third goal, and he also has added 3 assists in his last 5 games in the KHL, over a point per game. You love to see a hot start. And it was Roman's birthday on Saturday as well.
Hey, happy birthday, Roman.
21.
Oh, so we can legally drink here.
He can legally drink in the States, so happy birthday to Roman.
Very nice. 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points in 7 games. So, wow, Kanserov has 6 points in 7 games so far in the KHL. I'm sorry, that was handed to me on a silver platter.
No, but I've seen a lot from his game. He's really gained a lot over the offseason, and I can't wait to see him next year.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're looking forward to that.
So I have a little Hawks throwback tidbit. So I believe Anton Frondell was scoreless, no points in the last game that they played this weekend. However, former Blackhawk legend Dennis Rasmussen scored against Frondell's team this weekend.
He did.
Shout out Dennis Rasmussen.
Wow,
one of only
that's
4 goal scorers in the last Blackhawks playoff series that wasn't in the bubble.
Wow, that's a pull.
Not Vegas then. Who was it?
It was against Nashville in 2017.
That's right. Nash.
I should choose him for my next random Blackhawk.
Smashville. But yeah, shout out Dennis Rasmussen for scoring on our beautiful boy Anton's team.
Yeah, no, I got that text from Charlie on Saturday, and I like kind of rubbed my eyes a little bit. I'm like, yeah, Dennis Rasmussen was a Blackhawk at one point.
Yeah,
so shout out to former Hawk Dennis Rasmussen.
Yeah, shout out Dennis Rasmussen. Very nice there. Yeah,
you didn't think we'd talk about Dennis Rasmussen
I was not
today,
prepared. I didn't see anything about Dennis Rasmussen in the notes.
Oh, we got to bring some secrets to the show.
You got to be ready for anything on CHR. You just never know what you're going to talk about, do you? It just most random stuff will come up. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, in the chat, Vinnie Parisi said 4 cups for Kunitz. We won with Anaheim in 2007 as well.
Yeah. Oh, totally forgot.
I totally forgot
Cup
about
winner
that.
and Blackhawks
4
legend
cups
Chris
for
Kunitz.
Kunitz. Gee, let me look at that's insane.
Yep.
Damn. I mean, in the modern NHL game, few have won that many cups.
That's right.
I totally forgot he was on that Anaheim team
for the last.
And then he was traded to Pittsburgh
century.
after that, right? I'm just kind of doing some on-the-fly research here.
He was a Thrasher in 06. Okay.
Yeah, so I started the Mighty Ducks, then Thrashers, then back to Mighty Ducks, and then they became the Ducks. Won the cup in their first year of that with the rebrand. Which, by the way, I miss the Mighty Ducks. Do you all miss the Mighty Ducks?
I miss the Mighty Ducks.
I wish they were still the Mighty Ducks.
I love that they've brought those jerseys kind of back
Yeah,
from the grave.
it kind of has that feel again.
Mighty Ducks just sounds so cool.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Just being a fan of the movies.
Another tidbit about Dennis Rasmussen, tying this all together with our prospect talk. He is also an alum of Metallurg Magnitogorsk.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So is he good friends with Kantsarov?
I wouldn't presume so because the last game he played was in 2021. But I mean, there might have been some crossover.
Acquaintances.
There.
Yeah. And then Kunitz joined the Ducks. So, wait. Okay, no, never mind. He did join the Ducks. So he was a trade deadline acquisition in 2009. So that was perfect timing there. Right in time for that Cup in 2009. Then he leaves after the 16-17 Cups. That's right. He played at the Lightning, then the Hawks. It was actually 18-19 he played at the Hawks.
Yeah, there we go.
I was a year off there.
Yeah.
I forgot he was with the Lightning, too. What an interesting career. What a fascinating career from Chris Kunitz. Yeah, and then he's been with the Hawks in the dev role the last few years. So, no, that's interesting. Good lore there. Did we think we'd be getting into Chris Kunitz lore today?
Wait, another Chris traded for podcast legend Ryan Whitney.
Really?
The Wit Dog.
The Wit.
No way. Now that's a poll right there.
Thank you, Vinny, for the very pertinent info.
Thank you for that information. We really appreciate that. That's hilarious. A little bit more prospect talk here. This one's more negative, but former Blackhawks draft pick Dominic James signed a deal with Tampa over the weekend. So I guess he just didn't want to play here. So best of luck to him in Tampa, which normally Tampa's losing guys like that. They lost Isaac Howard to Edmonton.
Right.
So I guess Dominic James is the Isaac Howard replacement over there. So we'll see how that pans out for
he
them.
He was a two-time player with the USA World Juniors.
Which one?
Dominic James.
Ah, very nice. Yeah.
Played with Minnesota Duluth. I actually saw him when he came to Oxford.
Very nice.
Shout out Oxford. Yeah, you got the hat on.
I believe the Blackhawks they did not come to terms last year.
Yeah, no, they didn't come. They gave him a deal and they just there wasn't agreement. There's sometimes that happens, and if some prospect. He probably saw just the amount of players, probably ahead of him in the pipeline here and knew his chances are going to be tough. Whereas you look at a team like Tampa, a lot of their star guys are kind of already established in the NHL, so not as much of a prospect pool there. So kind of higher up in the pipeline there. So I'm assuming that's sort of the rationale there. I don't know the full details, but that stuff happens sometimes in hockey for sure. Not everybody's gonna make it your team, right? Yeah,
no.
For sure. And
called prospects for a reason.
Exactly, right. Yeah, some of them work out, some of them don't. So I think it's worth getting into some NHL topics here before we bring on Vinnie Paresi in the second half of the show during the NHL hour, where we'll be talking Blackhawks hockey and probably some NHL topics as well. But we should probably get some NHL news out of the way here before we bring them on. And where would we like to start, fellas? Where would we like to start here?
Let's recap the preseason games. I had a couple of stats here that notable performances from the weekend. Sonny Milano and Hendrix Lapierre dominated Boston. The left wing and center combo combined for 4 goals and 3 assists in their win over Boston. Gavin Brindley, big acquisition over the offseason. Gavin Brindley was traded for Charlie Coyle. So now Gavin Brindley in his first game as a Colorado Avalanche player, 2 goals in 54 seconds against Utah. Also wanted to bring up the Toronto Maple Leafs. They had a lineup that did not feature, some of their big guns, Morgan Riley, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, to name a few here. And they were huge underdogs, and they won 4-3 against the starting lineup, basically, for the Ottawa Senators. Matthew Schaefer, his first game. What did you guys think of Matthew Schaefer in his first game?
I saw a little bit of it after the Bears game. I was kind of riding a high after that, but I tuned in. I saw that he was making his preseason debut, so I thought it was worth checking in. Impressive. I thought his speed was super noticeable. I noticed there was this back check play. I forget who his player was he closed in on, but he just closed that gap like it was nothing. He can move out there like few can. So he looks, based off of the small sample size I've seen, like he looks NHL ready.
Yeah.
Like I know there's some question marks about whether he's going to make the team. I think he's going to make the team.
Yeah, I would honestly because I saw a tweet from Cam Robinson that said that he might be a top pair guy night 1. So he might be a guy to look out for in the Calder race.
Well, let me check in on the New York Islanders defensive lines here, because I mean, to be fair, I don't know if there's really a ton of competition on that back, especially after trading Noah Dobson. I mean, their defense is a little.
The only, from the left side, you've got Adam Pelech and you got Alexander Romanov.
Okay, so the second pair is Pelech Pollock. That's consistently been their second pair, so we can we don't have to think about that. Okay, I'd probably say Schaefer's. I'd probably put him on the top pair over Romanov. I mean, Romanov's solid. He just got a nice contract extension too, solid D-man. But I think Schaefer can beat him out for that slot.
Yeah. I think with how comfortable like he looked in that debut for preseason, and obviously there's kinks to work out, but this is their guy, and I feel like putting him at the first D pairing is a good move.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna. It's not gonna be like sink or swim. I feel like he's gonna have like slight ups and downs, but it's not gonna be so detrimental to put him at a first pair D-ring.
He was taken number 1 overall for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say right now, Tony DeAngelo is slotted in on the first pair on the right side. I probably prefer Scott Mayfield. I'll probably just swap the pairs. Right now, they got Romanov and DeAngelo on top pair 1. This is via daily face-off. I'm assuming this is based off of their combos from yesterday. I would just swap that and have Schaefer Mayfield be your top pair, or even have Pelech Pollock be your top pair, and that could be your second. I don't know. But yeah. They probably want to ease him in, though. I doubt they just want to give him first pair minutes right away. Maybe they do. I mean, to be fair, the Blackhawks did that with Sam Rizzo last year, so maybe the Islanders feel confident just kind of throwing him to the Wolves right away. I don't know.
Another thing I wanted to bring up on the other side of New York, did you guys see this? The fourth line, according to Flash Score, for the New York Rangers, I believe is the tallest line ever in hockey. Nathan Aspinall on the left wing, 6'7". Dylan Rubrick in the center, 6'7". Matt Rempe on the right hand, 6'9".
Oh, nice.
Nice. Well,
He's the same height as Chara?
That's insane.
Rempe?
Yeah.
I knew he was big. I didn't realize he was that big.
6'9", 260 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. I don't know if
Scary line.
I don't know if you know the answer to this. Has there ever been a 7-foot NHL hockey player?
No, there is not.
There never has been. Not once.
No.
There could be soon.
Chara's the
but not
tallest. Chara's the tallest in history, right? And Rempe's like just a notch below him.
No,
They're
I believe
tied.
they're both 6'9".
yet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
maybe
I
someone's
doubt
got
they're
centimeter height and
Yeah,
someone's
like,
got
I
a
doubt they're
centimeter
the
on them.
exact
Yeah.
same height. Maybe they are. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
But
That's fascinating.
Nolan,
Yeah.
what's the name of the kid in Brantford who's 7 foot? Prospect?
Give me a second. I can look this up.
I'm sure the
think it's
Hawks,
like-
Hawks haven't looked at him.
Is it Romanov? Is that his last name?
I know it's a Russian.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the Islanders defenseman.
Yeah, still. I'm really tapped into the Islanders right now.
Clearly, yeah.
Let me give me.
While you're
No,
looking
you're
for
all
that,
good, you're
speaking
all
of
good.
Russians, did y'all see Michkov's shootout goal yesterday? I believe it
That was
yesterday.
nasty.
Yeah.
That was pretty disgusting. I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do in his second season because he had a good rookie year, but many penciled him in as the Calder favorite to start the year, and then he wasn't even nominated for the award because he's beaten out by Celebrini, Wolf, and Hudson. I'm excited to see what he could do sophomore year. I think the expectations are roughly raised in Flyers land, new coaching staffs, Igor's coming in, so that's a team that should be more fun to watch this year, and I think he's going to play a big part there. So he's a ton of fun to watch. Here's a question I'm going to pose. Who has more points this year, Michkov or Demidov?
Well, actually, let me give you an update on that name. His name is Alexander Kermanov.
Kermanov.
Definitely
7
a
foot,
Russian
280 pounds.
Anything for Ov,
Yeah.
it's Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the two Ovs that you posed, Demidov and Michkov.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Very nice.
I think Michkov's going to have the upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, second year he's got the experience. You don't see a sophomore slump from Michkov.
No, I don't think so. I think they've got a better support system with lines. We don't know who Demidov's going to be with. You know that Michkov's probably going to be with Konechny or Farabee, or no, not Farabee. It's just probably with Travis Konechny, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would think so. And I just think Michkov, figured it out towards the end of last year, and I think he looked very good yesterday. There was a point yesterday where he actually got backtracked by Matthew Schaefer. I don't know if you guys saw that.
That was what I was referencing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was what I was referencing.
Yeah, so I thought that was super interesting, from Schaefer's perspective. But I just think Michkov. I really like Michkov this year.
I like that. I hope he has a better season of the two for no biased reasons whatsoever.
Charlie, thoughts?
Yeah.
I kind of am leaning your way just because of, they brought in Zegras. He's going to have this sophomore year after
Totally forgot about Trevor Zegras. I'm not going to lie to you.
After a full NHL season under the belt versus Demidov. It could be Demidov very well, though. I think, he looked pretty good in his first preseason game as well.
Yeah, he looked great in the rookie camp, too. I mean, he was dominating those Jets prospects.
Yeah, unfortunately, he looked really good. Yeah.
Minus that one video of him trying to pull a move and falling on his face this summer. Like, everything has looked really, really...
That was a funny clip. I know exactly what you're
referencing. Hawks fans were living that day. Hawks Twitter was all over
Hawks Twitter was on one.
Yeah, but...
repost.
Besides that little one gaffe that got viral, I think things have looked really good out of Montreal's side for him. All we're seeing out of training camp and throughout the summer looked really good. And if they're going to be that playoff team that they are expected to be and hope to be, I think he's going to be a big part of that. So I'm going to take Demidov.
Okay, fair enough. I think if they put him with Caulfield and Suzuki, just the nuclear option on the top line, I think that'd be unreal.
Yeah, I mean, just full. That's like what Tampa does. I mean, they just kill you with just the most skilled line they can put together.
Gensel and Kucherov,
just have them all go for a point per game. I mean, obviously the Canadians aren't at that level with them yet, but who knows?
Yeah.
Would you guys say Demidov is the Calder Trophy favorite? Because there's another guy, who's going to be in the race, which I hope the race doesn't come down between these two. But as a Hawks fan, I think I'd lose my mind. But there's another player who looked pretty good in the preseason yesterday, making his debut, and that was Misa in San Jose. Between Demidov and Misa, who do you think has the upper hand there?
I think the upper hand, just as we stand right now, obviously goes to Demidov, just having played in the league already and all of that.
Yeah, experience, and he's 24 versus 25.
Yeah, but Misa, I will say, does look very impressive. And
I'm assuming he makes the team. He looks just like
San
Schaefer.
Jose.
He looks NHL ready. So. Who the hell else is going to play with the Sharks?
Right? Put him with Kurashev.
Yeah, they had Kurashev as the 1C yesterday in the preseason game. Philip Kurashev. Celebrini was out illness, I guess. I don't really know why he was out, but I think they said illness, so doesn't want to play preseason. Fair enough. But yeah, they had Philip Kurashev as the 1C there, so that was
strange,
fascinating stuff there going on in San Jose. I mean, just what's going on there? Yeah, is beyond me. But we'll see how that goes for them.
Polar bear. Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, Philip Kurashev, top line center.
Or the one that Justin threw out yesterday, hippopotamus in Memphis.
What the hell is a hippopotamus doing in Memphis, Tennessee? That's Philip Kurashev is a 1C in 2025. So, hey, best of luck to him over there. So, we have a spy behind enemy lines.
Yes,
that's Philip Kurashev. He's
truly.
Exactly. So we'll see how that goes for him over there. That was funny.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Nolan? Misa and Demidov.
I think you give the upper hand to Misa or to Demidov rather than Misa. I think Demidov's got more of a support system around him. I think having the experience of the playoffs and having the experience of the last couple of games in Montreal, I think he's looked a lot better. He is the Calder favorite according to the sports books, and you can definitely tell why.
Give me neither. Give me Sam Renzel.
Give me Oliver Moore plus 10,000 Calder.
Hey, last year, hotshot American defenseman stole the Calder from the players that pretty much everybody thought were the favorites. Last year, the favorites that were expected were Michkov and Celebrini, and Hudson won the Calder. So this year, everybody's going to say Demidov and Misa. How about Renzel comes in and steals their thunder?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Especially if he's on the top pair, he's going to get 23, 24 minutes a night like he was at the end of last season. Why not?
Yeah, maybe Justin has the script.
I think I'm onto something there. I think I'm onto something there.
The script writers.
I hope so. Yeah, for sure. We shall see. Some other preseason notes. I saw Brady Tkachuk was really giving it to some of the Maple Leafs players.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
See the little scrum he had?
I think the caption was, "Here goes Brady Tkachuk chirping an AHL player," and it's
hey, nobody's off limits. Man. Nobody's off limits.
This is what you're trying to do for a living. Get a quick adjustment to it.
Yeah, that was amusing. I just thought that was worth bringing up. Otherwise, no. I mean, it didn't. I'd be lying if I claimed on a Sunday, football's going on, the Bears are playing, that I was really invested in preseason hockey. But I was checking in every now and then, and we'll definitely be watching a lot more this week as a Blackhawks.
I definitely did my research during that Sunday Night Football snooze fest. So.
For sure, and we'll talk about. Don't worry, we'll talk about the Bears in the second half too. We'll get our Chicago sports talk in.
There's a reason why I put my T-shirt on today. Bear down, baby.
Bear down.
That's
bear down.
All right, noon. I think we're going to go to break here, and then NHL hour. We're going to bring on Vinnie Paresi to talk Blackhawks and more. See you then.
See you. Welcome back to CHR.
That's right. Second half of the show, baby. NHL Hour of CHR. Welcome back. A friendly reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate that. 5-star rating and review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate that a ton. All right. Second half of the show, baby. And we have a guest in the queue who we're really excited to have on here. One of the best Blackhawks people covering the Blackhawks in the media sphere. We got Vinnie Paresi from the Hockey News on the show. Vinny, do you got us? Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Yeah, we got you. Thank you for coming on.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Really excited to have you on. I think we should start there. How is your Hockey News job going writing about the Hawks? Yeah, let us know about that. How's that going?
Very good. I've been doing it I've been covering the NHL in general, specifically the New Jersey Devils and the Chicago Blackhawks for the last 8 years, I think I'm going into.
Nice.
And this is my second year with the Hockey News. So very much looking forward to getting going. And it's been great. It's been everything I could ever, you guys know how it is talking hockey and just, having people care about what you say, what you do. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really cool.
That's awesome. Really happy to hear that. Between the two teams, it's two very different teams. You got one kind of in playoff contention here. You got another one kind of in the middle of a rebuild. So you kind of get to experience both ends of the spectrum there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And they kind of went through similar things. The Devils won 3 lotteries since 2019. One of them, they got the second overall pick. One of them, they got two of them, they got the first overall pick. The Hawks are one behind. They got 1 first place, 1 second place. So we'll see how the rebuild, obviously through the draft, the hockey teams tend to, if there are pros and cons to both. Mm-hmm. Some teams do really succeed with lots of top 5 picks. Others stay in the top 10 for a decade in a row.
Yeah.
So there are lots of different ways to look at it, but I think the Blackhawks specifically, building from the net out kind of, now that they got Spencer Knight locked in, I think it's been really, really good.
So the New Jersey Devils, that's a team where they sort of, they started coming out of this rebuild a lot sooner than people anticipated. Like I recall they had a rough season, 21-22. And then 22-23, they just exploded sort of out of nowhere. I guess the question I want to ask is, could you see this Blackhawks team do you think there's a possibility that could occur here? Or do you think this team, the contention window is kind of a while down the line?
So it kind of depends. In 2023, it would be 21-22. Mm-hmm. The Devils use 7 goalies. Yeah. You're never gonna succeed if you're using that many goalies in one season. Like sometimes they say if you have 2 goalies, you have none. I don't necessarily agree with that, but using 7 in a whole season, there's probably an issue there. And there were some up and down seasons Jack used, and he sure didn't really reach what they eventually would the following season. But then they had that one really good year, and then a down year the year after. Mm-hmm. So it's up and down. So for the Blackhawks, my thing with them would always just be like, stay the course. Mm-hmm. You don't want to overpay too much. Obviously, it'd be nice to bring in a nice free agent for Connor Bedard. If they brought in someone who's really, really good to play on his wing or something like that was a highly paid player, and we're like, hey, we know you're going to be on a mid-level team right now, but down the line, we're going to be really, really good. I'm cool with something like that, but overpaying for a trade deadline accusation to maybe squeak in an 8 seed, I kind of veer away from sometimes. But then again, playoff experience is always good for guys. So I just think stay the course, keep developing these defensemen, let them play. There are some really good ones. So that's kind of where I'm at comparing the two.
For sure. You mentioned the Blackhawks defensemen. Who are some of the ones who impressed you the most so far and you're most excited to watch this season? Yeah.
So I really like Sam Rinzel. Yeah. I think he has the potential to be a number 1. At minimum, a number 2, right? And then obviously Levchinov, he has some raw skills that maybe make you question, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why were you in that position in that zone? But then you see the skating ability and the tenacity in the offensive zone. And you're like, okay, this is why he was the number 2 pick. This is what helped him dominate so much in college. Rinzel's a little more calculated with everything he does. And I think he's just always in the right position. I think it took time for him to develop into what he is right now. And so, those are the obvious 2 that are going to come up when people talk about young Blackhawk defensemen. I thought Ethan Del Mastro took a big step last year. Nolan Allen had moments where he looked like just a solid defensive defenseman who he'll draw comparisons to Hjalmarsson, oddly enough, when people talk about defensive defensemen. But really, I think Nolan Allen's ability to make a first pass out of the zone to create an offensive chance the other way is probably even better than what John Merson displayed early in his career. So I do think they got a nice crop of young defensemen coming up for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of competition going to be happening in this training camp and throughout preseason to see who sticks in those top 6 roles going into the season. I kind of wanted to ask what you thought about the offseason for the Blackhawks. Obviously, a few big extensions taking place over the last 6 months. Reacquiring Sam Lafferty. Just other than the extensions, not a whole lot going on. And just kind of, how do you feel about Davidson's plan from this offseason?
So I never really want to suggest that a team is like tanking.
Yeah.
Because you never know what is actually going on in the brass, like what they're actually talking about behind closed doors. They'll never say it. But in 2023, it became pretty obvious by the end of the year that they wanted to be in the bottom tier of the league. They traded Patrick Kane. Jonathan Taves wasn't playing. They got Connor Bedard. And it's been kind of similar ever since. Nothing will ever beat the McDavid tank. I mean, that year, 2015, was honestly just so funny. There were so many teams who it was almost like the GMs came down to the ice and said, "What are you doing? Why are you scoring goals? Please lose." It was honestly hilarious. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen with Gavin McKenna. But I do wonder if deep inside Kyle Davidson's soul, he's like, Connor Bedard could have 80 points. Frank Nazar can, be a 60, 70 point, two-way guy. If all goes well, everyone's healthy, everyone plays to their full potential. We'll see the development from the defensemen. And there's still a world where they're just not deep enough and they're a bottom 5 team in the contention for Gavin McKenna. So I do think that played in slightly to the somewhat quiet offseason where really all they focused on was bringing in or extending their internal guys. You got the Frank Nazar extension. Ryan Donato's been really good for the culture and the overall on-ice product for the team. One of my favorite players to talk to because he always gives you a thoughtful answer. He's always willing to let some insight into what's going on with the team. So I really appreciate Ryan Donato and then Spencer Knight. It's more been about internal development than anything so far, and they've yet to make that big jump. And Kyle Davidson was clear. I think they had the post-draft rookie camp on July 1st. And someone asked him, "Are you done?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're really not going to be doing much this offseason in terms of free agents." And it was kind of weird to hear that, like, very early into the free agent cycle. But everybody kind of sees the writing on the wall on what's going on here. It's about development. It's about seeing where they finish this year and then going from there. If we're talking about Landon DuPont in 2027, I think there's going to be some real criticisms coming.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this year will show some progress, regardless of whether or not that translates into more points.
Yeah.
What storylines are you going to be most watching this year? Maybe especially right now during training camp preseason. Like, what are you watching right now at this Hawks team?
For this Hawks team, I want to see where Connor Bedard is with his development. So far from what we've seen, the speed seems to be increased. And we saw Donato talk about that going into last offseason. Hey, I want to get faster. I want to do this. Connor Bedard skipped the World Championships. He stayed basically skating every single day. You guys saw the clips coming out every single day. He looks shiftier. He looks speedier. If he even gained half a stride in his step, I mean, he had 60-something points as a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old. He scored 20 goals twice, and he just turned 20 over the summer. So really, I know that's kind of like the chalk boring answer, like, oh, you talk about the Blackhawks, you're going to talk about Connor Bedard. But honestly, coming into this season, you wonder if it's that third year where he really takes a big step. Now, am I expecting Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl numbers? No, of course not. I do think that ceiling is there, though. I really do. And if he can get that skating and that stride, see how he does with his edge work, and kind of just knowing when to go for that little extra sauce on a play, the difference between that and being responsible the other way, I think it'll help him really transform into one of the true top 10, top 20 centers in the NHL. I'm excited to see Bedard play. Obviously, if I'm going a non-chalk answer, I guess you can say the guys who are like fringe on making the roster right off the bat. So like, I think Sam Rinzel is going to make the team just based on what we've seen. Obviously, Oliver Moore, Kevin Korchinski, Artem Levshinov, are these guys going to make the team right out of camp? Where's Nick Lardis? That's my answer. Nick Lardis.
Yes.
This guy is unbelievable. He's really cool to talk to. Always gives you thoughtful answers, like I described with Donato. 71 goals in the OHL last year. I mean, I don't think I could score 71 goals with my Be a Pro character in NHL and the junior leagues. So for him to be able to go in that league and do it, and he gifted playmaker too. Nobody will ever talk about it. The guy knows how to make a good pass, though. That play he made to feed Oliver Moore in the Prospects Challenge game, and then apparently after the game, Moore comes out and says, I wasn't in Minnesota, but he came out and said,
that was all
Lardis drew up that play. It was all Lardis' idea. I'm like, okay, so he's got a big brain. He could pass. He's shot as good as any prospect in the organization. So, yeah, really excited for Lardis.
I can't score 70 goals in beer league hockey, let alone be a pro.
That's
funny.
It's going to be interesting to see
which is
where
harder.
he ends up.
Yeah, player's been comped to Bedard a decent bit. It's actually the Devils' Jack Hughes. You look at him, he kind of struggled a bit through those first 2 seasons, but then that third season really exploded. He did have an injury that year. I believe he had 23 goals, 33 assists in 49 games, something like that. Could you see Betsy having that type of explosive output this year? Yeah.
Yes, in terms of the way their career started and the way that the production has kind of slowly but surely, we hope, taken increases over years, I definitely see the similarities. They're both undersized number 1 overall picks that were drafted to bad teams initially. Jack Hughes is a way better skater. Like Connor Bedard, he's working on getting to Jack Hughes' level in terms of skating. Right now, it's just Jack Hughes is one of the best with his edges in the whole league. He's almost too good of a skater that sometimes he does trusted it too much, and then he runs into Jack Eichel in front of the net and destroys his clavicle or whatever it was, and he's out for the rest of the year. So I think it's about learning when to use, his edges and stuff like that properly for Hughes to stay healthy. But Bedard's got a way better shot than Jack Hughes will ever have. So you kind of balance the good with the bad there. But in terms of how they grew and developed in their careers as undersized number 1 overall picks trying to play center, Jack Hughes, same thing early in his career too. Is he a center? Is he a wing? I've always said you keep Jack Hughes at center, you develop him as a center. I've been saying the same thing about Connor Bedard. I do think moving him to the wing, it could work, but it also could be a mistake. And then I also think of Nathan MacKinnon in terms of production. He had like 30 points in his 3rd season in the NHL. And people were wondering, like, okay, Nathan MacKinnon, he won the Calder Trophy. He had another 50-point season. There was the one really bad 30-point season where they were one of the worst teams ever, and they got Cale Makar 4th overall. But, sometimes guys just take longer than others. Not everybody could be McDavid having, 100 points in his first 80 games in the NHL. Same thing with Jack Eichel and Austin Matthews producing really early in their careers. We really haven't seen anything like it. So we'll see how it goes with, that comparison. But yeah, I do think Bedard could take those steps that Hughes took over time.
Yes, love to hear it.
Yeah, that would be
Producer Nolan.
Yeah, off-cam producer Nolan here. Thank you, Vinnie, for taking your time to meet with us today. So I want to swap from one Hughes to the other Hughes on the Devils, Luke Hughes. Do you have any updates on what that situation is like, and what are your expectations on that front?
So far, I've only heard that they are working on a long-term extension. Now, what does that mean? What does an agent consider a long-term extension? What does the team consider a long-term extension? If it's a 5-year deal, I think Devils fans will be worried because that lines him up with Jack to both become free agents at the same time. But, that's something you worry about in 5 years. 5 years is a long time from now. Where were the Blackhawks 5 years ago? Where the Pittsburgh Penguins? Nice Chris Kunitz conversation. Loved that, by the way.
That was a hell of a pull.
It was, yeah. I know way too much Spit and Chicklets lore. But things change so much in 5 years. Now, if you get them beyond 5 years, let's say they sign them to 8, and we'll throw 8 by 10 out there. Now you're talking about the potential of really trading for Quinn Hughes and getting Jack extended again, and really having the Hughes brothers around during the prime, like the true prime of their careers. So that's why I think it's important to try and get over 5 if you can. But if you get it to 5, Quinn is free in 2. You get it done. But I mean, the fact that he's not signed right now it's an issue. I do think you like to get a full training camp in, or at least by the second week. You want all your guys in training camp. And I know Nashville is dealing it with Luke Evangelista and obviously Anaheim with Mason McTavish. Hey, at least Luke Hughes is in New Jersey.
Yeah,
Mason McTavish, he's hanging out in Letterkenny, Canada with the Ottawa 67.
Have you seen Letterkenny, the show?
Oh yeah, of course.
It's a great show.
Yeah, and I don't even know, is it a real town? Like I just made that up, saying like he's out in
I think it's fictional,
Ottawa.
actually. Yeah.
It probably is, but
Yeah.
like skating with the 67s instead of the Ducks, or like even somewhere in Southern California, I thought that was a little strange. But yeah, I do think Luke will get done before the season starts. It's just a matter of how much training camp will it eat up for him, and it kind of will set the tone a little bit for the free agent market or RFA defensemen, like the ones who have put up some numbers early in their careers. Because the Faber deal, I think that's got to be out the window at this point, because that was signed before the news of the cap going up exponentially in the next 3 years. You're going to have Lane Hudson coming up, though. We'll see what happens with these young Blackhawk and Shark defensemen that have been coming through the pipeline. Obviously, there's going to be Matthew Schaefer in a couple years. So whatever Luke Hughes does with this is going to impact, I think, future RFA defensemen in the coming years.
So you did bring up Quinn Hughes there. There's been a lot of smoke around his future there in Vancouver. Are you one who sees a realistic possibility that he could be joining his brothers in New Jersey in the future?
Yeah, I do. And it's nothing other than, I mean, the GM of the team that he currently plays for and would extremely suffer if he left said it. If it was Tom Fitzgerald from the Devils saying it, their GM, or if it were Jack or Luke saying it, I would take it with a grain of salt. The literal GM of the Vancouver Canucks made the point that he wants to play with his brothers. And if his brothers are signed for 5+ years with the New Jersey Devils, it's hard to see, like, is Quinn going to leave the Canucks and go to Florida? Well, they can't afford him. Is he going to go somewhere else? Is he going to go to the Rangers? No. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like you either see him extending in Vancouver or leaving via either trade this year or free agent next year. We'll see how Vancouver plays this year. They were this close to beating the Edmonton Oilers 2 years ago, and everybody thought they were to be a cup contender for a long time, and things went south last year. So, yeah, in the end, though, I do think there's a real chance. I'll go 60% that he ends up with the Devils.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to watch. I thought the idea of like a 3-on-3 overtime where it's just the Hughes brothers, that'd be a ton of fun. 2 defensemen, but I'm sure they find a way to make that work.
Yeah. I mean,
I think if there was ever 2D on the ice in an overtime situation, it would be the Hughes brothers.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'd be cinema.
yeah. I mean, I definitely
really
see
cool.
that as a possibility, you know, kind of like, what is it? The slap shot, Hanson brothers all on the same team. Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah.
A little different, bit of a different different games.
Not triplets either.
Yeah, no, for sure. Different games on display there. But yeah, just overall expectations of the Devils this season. It was a better year for them last year, a bit of a bounce back season, got back in the playoffs, first round exit. What would you say is a successful season for the Devils this year? Yeah.
Every team in the league can say this, but it does with them more than anyone depend on health. Because Jack Hughes did go down in February, and that was it for him the rest of the season. They weren't the same offensively on the power play. And obviously at 5-on-5, you're going to suffer if you take away a guy who's capable of putting up 100 points in 82 games. But I do think their depth is slightly improved. They added Evgeny Dadonov and Connor Brown. Not that those guys are like world beaters or anything, but they both have 20-goal seasons under their belt in their career. I would compare it to like an addition of Mikheyev, you know, just a solid bottom six forward who's got some speed, especially Connor Brown. And then Dadonov, he's got the ability to snipe. I know he's getting a little older now, but if he scored 20 goals playing in the middle six, I wouldn't be too surprised at all. And then this Arseny Gritsik, who's coming over from Russia, they love him. I don't know what my overall expectations are for him in terms of points. I think if he had a 40-point season, that would be really, really solid. So I do think competing in the top 3 of the Metropolitan Division has to be the basement floor for the Devils this season. The Hurricanes are really good. There's no doubting that they could easily run away with the division. But, you know, the Devils, if they stay healthy and everything clicks like it did a couple years ago, they could win the division too. And then the Rangers are a bounce-back candidate. I don't think the Islanders are going to necessarily take that step this year. Pittsburgh and Philly might be the 2 worst teams in the Eastern Conference, especially Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
If they trade Crosby or Malkin, we'll see. But which is sad because those teams were awesome. But, you know, it's the end of an era there. And then the Columbus Blue Jackets, really nice surprise season last year. Same thing with Washington. Surprise seasons for both of them last year, kind of in different ways. But is the juice of Ovechkin not breaking the record this year going to lift Washington to heights that it did? Because they did fall off a little bit after Ovechkin kind of was almost guaranteed to break it that season. and they started to struggle a little bit down the stretch. And then in the playoffs, it was like not the same team that it was from October to February. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely think for the Devils, they got to be in the top 3 in the division. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really hard off season.
And it's a very open division too. Like it's definitely a division you look at where they should be slotted in that spot. Yeah, it's not the Atlantic.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's bad. I would call it a bad division.
Okay. No one?
Yeah, another question here. We've been talking a lot about the Blackhawks prospect pool. Is there a certain prospect in the Devil system that you're looking forward to watching this season?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple. They got this Anton Saliev, who they drafted instead of Zeev Buium, 10th overall in 2024.
You don't seem too happy about that.
Really shocked that they made that move. I'll just say that. But a lot of teams passed on him in the Wild. We'll see how they develop him. But so yeah, watching Anton will be cool. I really like this Lenny Hamanaho. I don't even know if I'm saying his last name correctly at all, but that's how they said it on the broadcast a couple days ago. So I'm just going to go with it. But yeah, those are probably the two. The system isn't what it was even 2 years ago, before Luke Hughes and Seamus Casey kind of graduated to the NHL. I guess you could kind of call Casey a prospect a little bit. I'll throw his name in the mix too. But if they did end up with Quinn, it's really hard to see Casey being an impact player on the Devils. And then you wonder, do you use him as trade bait to address a different need on the team? Markstrom's going to be up after this year. We'll see if they bring him back. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But I would say Hamanaho and Saliev, if I'm pronouncing either of their names correctly, are probably the two I'm looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to follow up on here, I was talking a lot last year about the availability of Simon Nemec on that back end to see if New Jersey would trade him. What are your expectations and thoughts on Nemec hopefully making the team this year?
Yeah, I do think he's going to make the team. He kind of had a slow start last year. He was injured during camp. Last year was the year he was injured during camp, right?
I believe
and then
so.
He kind of came in. And then by the end of the season, he wasn't playing every game, but then he gets in the playoffs. And in the playoffs, I thought he looked like the kid who I was really excited for the year prior, because that one year they had a down year and missed the playoffs. And between the two playoff years, Nemec was one of the bright spots. It's like, this guy's going to be a star.
He had a big game winner in that series, didn't he?
A overtime game winner was their one win in the playoffs against Carolina was Nemec in overtime. So, yeah, I do kind of have high hopes for him. I think he's a different player than the Hughes brothers. So I don't think his future is shot if Quinn were to come over this year, next year, the year after. Because I just think Nemec is probably more of that, and I'm not at all saying he's this type of player at all, but like that two-way guy like a Keith or a Doughty.
Okay.
I'm, again, not saying he's reaching that apex at all. Probably not even close, but like that guy who, he could defend and create offense, but he'll never lean one way or the other like a majority. That's kind of what I mean by that. So, yeah, I do have high hopes for Nemec. Maybe a top 4D would be really, really nice.
Yeah, kind of a less serious question here. Something we thought about. Does it ever get confusing for you covering two separate teams in NHL at the same time?
Yeah, so it does, because I cover the Blackhawks on a very serious note.
Yeah.
Like I'm there, I sit in the press box, I keep my mouth quiet. There's no cheer. It's all business. The Devils, I started a long time ago with fan-sided, and fan-sided it's a fan-driven deal. So there was always covering them was just like more of a hobby. And then I do a pregame show that's very fan-centric ahead of the game, every game, on the Let's Go Devils podcast network. And obviously the name of it is Let's Go Devils podcast. So one of them is obviously a little more just for pure entertainment, pure joy, for the love of the game. Blackhawks is my job. I cover them. Nothing is biased. I enjoy the team. They're very, interesting. They're fun to watch. I live in Chicago, but I would say there's a difference in the way I cover each of them based on my job criteria.
Which one do you enjoy more if you had to pick one?
I mean, the Devils, of course. That's my favorite team. It was my favorite team growing up, but I think, I don't know if I ever would. I guess I would, but if I covered the Devils for the hockey news, I would have to tone down, giving a dirty look when I talk about them drafting Saliev over Buium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with the Blackhawks, it's just whatever they do, I talk about it, and that's it with a straight face. even though we all have our biases. What's my favorite storyline? Of course, I'm excited to watch Bedard, but like, who isn't?
Yeah.
And, nobody in that press box is coming into this year going, "Oh, got to watch Connor Bedard."
That's the one thing I think pretty much anybody, no matter where your fandom is at the team, can can look forward to and be excited about. I mean, if you're not, let us say, as much in the know, for sure.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, we kind of already covered your kind of Devils prospects to be on the lookout for. In terms of the Hawk system, not including AHL guys, who are kind of the guys you're looking the most at in their junior or overseas leagues this year?
Absolutely. I really, really like Sasha Boisvert.
Oh, he's fun.
Nice.
He was awesome at North Dakota last year, and then he's going to play at BU this year. His dad is one of the funniest guys on Twitter. But yeah, I really enjoy watching him play. I think he gets a lot of Taves comparisons just because he's a two-way center that played at North Dakota.
Yeah.
Again, similar to comparing anyone to Keith. Like, you don't think they're necessarily going to be Hall of Famers. It's just that style of play.
And they both speak French.
And exactly. And I'm not sure Boisvert will ever be a number one center in the NHL, but that's not what they drafted him to be. They have Connor Bedard. They have Frank Nazar. If the Blackhawks develop themselves into like a legitimate Stanley Cup contender, he's a bottom six center, like a really, really high-end bottom six center, like Ryan Green, maybe a little more offensively gifted than a Ryan Green, because I do think there's more in his tank offensively for Boisvert. But Philip Deneau, I remember when he was coming up, I was really high on him, like just as that two-way guy who, every now and again he'll pop in 2 goals. Deneau didn't reach the offensive ceiling in his NHL career that I necessarily thought he might, but like the two-way game really, really turned out nice. So that's kind of where I see Boisvert. He's probably the guy I'm looking at non-AHL, because Nick Lardis, I talked about him already, but he's going to play for either the Blackhawks or the Ice Hogs this season. I imagine he'll make his NHL debut, so he's off the table in terms of this conversation. But and then of course the Golden Boy over in Sweden, Anton Frandell. Just very excited about him. I could see him being. You want to make a comparison to the Devils? I could really see him being like Nico Hischier. Oh, just nice. A 30-goal scoring, if he plays center, a 30-goal scoring centerman who could, he'll never have 150 points like a Jack Hughes. Yeah. Not that Hughes will ever have 150, but you know what I mean, like a high-end offensive player. Hischier's got an 80-point season under his belt. He scored 35 goals last year. Came in second place for the Selke. I think last year he came in 4th or 5th. Just a really, really solid two-way player, but like a high-end two-way player. That's where I see Frandell. I always look at him and I'm like, you're Nico Hischier Jr. Hopefully you become that in the NHL.
Apparently Hischier's coming a lot bigger this year, according to 32 Thoughts.
Oh my God, Elliot with the 32 Thoughts. Hischier's getting bigger. He brought it up to Jack Hughes. And then he later says he wanted to take that out of the podcast. I'm like, why do you want to take that out of the podcast? That's hilarious. So if I see any of those guys this year, I'm going to ask them if they think Hischier looks at all bigger this year. And then, of course, I said if I see Crosby, I think Crosby comes to town on December 28th. I'm going to ask him how you pronounce the shoe brand, spelled Puma.
Puma.
Because I have a feeling if I get Sidney Crosby on video saying that, it would probably go pretty viral.
That's pretty funny. Well, you talk about the centers, Boisvert maybe being a 3C. That seems to be the way it's trending in the NHL, where it's like you have to have like a really solid 1-2-3 center combination. Look at a team like the Panthers of like Anton Lundell being the number 3 center for that Cup team. Like most teams, he'd probably be in your top 6, but the Panthers team is so deep, he's your third line center. So that worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah. Best third C in the league, probably, right?
Exactly. You need to have 3 lines that can
up
roll.
There, but yeah,
you need to have 3 lines that can roll. Even Tampa, Hagel can play anywhere in the lineup, so that definitely seems to be a way it's trending.
If you look at every Cup contender, you get that. Or every Cup winner, the Lightning, they had, like you said, with Hagel, and it was Stamkos and Braden Point. Eventually, Stamkos moves to the wing. Obviously, he's on the Predators now, but that's when they kind of started to fall off a little bit when they're not as deep down the middle. I think back to those Pittsburgh teams: Crosby, Malkin, Bonino. Right, like that third line with Bonino centering, it dominated. Really, the only team that wasn't 3 high-end centers deep to win the Cup in the last 10 years is that Blackhawks team in 2015.
Yeah,
they were running Brad Richards and Handzus, which was fine. Or no, Handzus was the 13 Cup. I don't even remember who the second line center was. Oh, Taves.
Yeah.
What a moron I am.
Right.
But beyond Taves, though, you got, Brad Richards, and then it wasn't the same below. But a lot of the times with these teams, Colorado hasn't been the same since Kadri left.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, building down the middle, it has kind of changed in the NHL a lot.
Would you say that center depth is the most important trait in a cup winner now?
Only behind having, I think you need 4 really solid defensemen.
Strong top 4. Yeah.
5 and 6 have to be really, really good too.
Mm-hmm.
5 and 6 have to be guys who would be top 4 on most other teams. And then you look at the Panthers. Who is their third D? Like Ekblad?
You can make the debate there. Jones.
Forsling to me is their number 1.
Yeah.
I know he's not as offensive as other guys. He's not putting up 80 points like Erik Karlsson or Dahlin or Hughes or Makar. But like that Colorado team, Makar, Taves, Bowen Byram was their number 4. Sam Girard. Just these teams that are so deep defensively always seem to have an edge. And that's why I like what the Blackhawks are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if in 5 years you look at that team and you go, you have Rinzel, Levshinov, and let's say Del Mastro becomes like a solid number. Oh, Vlasic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vlasic. And then let's say the number 4 is a guy you sign in free agency to just be a really solid number 4. Or maybe it is Del Mastro or Allen that turns into Korchinski, one of these top 4D. I really like what they're doing on their defense. Like, really, really like it, because that's what I see as the key to starting to build your team around. You have Spencer Knight. We'll see if Bedard is, that super duper star, fill in a second line center, start putting wings around him, and you could have a cup contender in 3 years.
Yes, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I know you just brought up Korchinski. What are your expectations and what are your thoughts on what's been going on with his development? And do you think he makes the team out of camp?
I've never been more up and down on a player since I started.
He's hard to figure out.
Really
He's never been more.
He is hard to, because that rookie season he had that overtime winner against the Leafs on Black Friday.
I was at that game.
Bedard who scored it, and he set it up. Oh yeah, were you? Like, it was unbelievable, and I'm like, this guy's going to be sick. And then he kind of started to tail off a little bit towards the end of that season, but then up and down the following year, I thought it was genius to put him in the AHL. And then last year, he never established himself in the NHL. But then I actually went down to Rockford. I did a Rockford game at the Allstate Arena against the Wolves in the first round, and then against Milwaukee in the second round. He was amazing. Mm-hmm. He was incredible. And I interviewed him after the game. And I'm like, impressed by his personality and the way he carries himself. But when it comes to the NHL, it just doesn't stick. There are flashes. Mm-hmm. But as we see with the Bears, sometimes flashes get people fired. So we'll see how it goes this year. But I just think a lot of guys on the team have passed him up, because when he was first drafted, Rinzel was also drafted the same draft, but he was never seen in the same stratosphere as Korchinski. Vlasic, we never thought he'd become basically a carbon copy of his cousin, Mark Edward, basically the same type of player. And then obviously you didn't know Levshinov was coming second overall. And so the one thing he's supposed to be really, really good at is producing offensively. And about 4 guys on the D-Corps have passed him up in that sense. So you're not even the best in the organization at the one thing you're supposed to be super elite at. So I go back and forth. I'm rooting for him because he's awesome as a person. He's really, really cool. I hope he makes the team out of camp and just puts up hella points as the early stages of the season go on.
That would be nice. Definitely could be a nice X factor from that regard. We sort of had this debate here during this interview, but if you had to put a year that the Blackhawks get back in the playoffs, what year do you think that happens?
Let's see. So I don't think Winnipeg, Colorado, or Dallas are going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be the big 3 in the Central Division for at least the next 3 years minimum. Especially now that Dallas has Rantanen. We'll see what they trade Robertson for, or if they extend them. Either way, it's going to be a boost for their team, regardless of what decision they make there. Winnipeg, I mean, they just don't go away.
Yeah.
And they have an elite number 1 D, an elite number 1 center, and an elite goalie. 3 huge pillars to a cup contender, right? And then the Blues are always knocking on the door. The Wild are always knocking on the door. We'll see what happens with Kaprizov. Nashville, Blackhawks might not have that much trouble passing up Nashville. But then there's the Utah Hockey Club, the Mammoth. We'll see how they play. They could be really good this year. The Central Division's a problem. I look out west, the Pacific, Vegas, Edmonton, LA. But how's LA going to be after this year when Kopitar retires? I don't love Calgary right now. I know they had a surprise decent year last year. I don't know what Seattle's doing. I have no idea what Seattle's doing.
Mid.
And then the Sharks will eventually rise up, and I think the Ducks might too. There are flaws with the Ducks, though, that worry me. I don't love what they're building on the back end necessarily. Forward's really solid if they get McTavish signed. But that was a long-winded way of saying I think based on the Central Division, it's at least 2 more years before the Blackhawks are really pushing for a top 3 spot in the Central Division. Wild card, they'll be in the race, I think, next year.
Mm-hmm. You brought up Kirill Kaprizov. We were remiss if we didn't ask you what do you think happens with Kaprizov? There's been some delusions I know from Hawks fans in that regard. Maybe not delusions, but what do you think happens with Kaprizov?
I might be in the minority here. I would not give him $16 million.
You wouldn't?
I just would not. I would not, because we talked about all the things that I see as like pillars of what makes a Stanley Cup team. Giving a winger $16 million, what is that? 18% of the cap. Giving a winger, and listen, Kaprizov is amazing. He's one of 3 wingers I would break the bank for: Kucherov, Pasternak, Kaprizov.
Mm-hmm.
Marner, Rantanen, Nylander, maybe you could talk me into it, but those are the big 3. He's hurt often. He's missed a lot of games. And I think if the Wild give him, I think if he leaves, there's all sorts of interesting things they could do with that $16 million goal. You're going to have to pay Matt Boldy. You're going to have to pay Joel Eriksson eventually. Centers, build down the middle. Your D-core has been solid for years. We'll see if Gustafson's the goalie of the future. But I'm not saying don't sign him. If they 12, 13 mil is probably where I'd cap out on Kaprizov. He's not going to take it. But look at how Panarin worked out for the Rangers. They never had that true number 1C. Trocheck, Zibanejad. Zibanejad was like a true number 1C for like 3 years, and they did get to the conference finals, but a couple times. But they just weren't deep enough in that regard. So I'd be very, very careful about overpaying a winger.
And then it's early days, but who's your Cup winner this year?
Wow. Loaded question. I think there's obviously a couple that come to everybody's mind when you talk about it. Right now, I really like Vegas. Mm-hmm. Adding Marner to that team, I think is going to – Mark Stone's never going to have to play against the top line ever again, which is something that in his older age has kind of been wear and tear on his body. They're going to miss Pietrangelo, but they still have Theodore and Hannafin leading the way and all these great, awesome defensemen. And they're not going to be shy about adding another one. You know how Vegas is.
Oh, yeah. They always find a way.
Are Thomas Hertl and Erik Karlsson the most forgotten about superstars in the NHL of all time because they're on this team with Eichel and Marner? I was at the Blackhawks game last year doing it from the press box, and all of a sudden Gene Honda starts calling Dorofeyev's goal. He's like, Vegas Golden Knights goal scored by number whatever, Pavel Dorofeyev, his 35th of the season, assisted by – so I look, I'm like –
35.
His what now? How many goals? It's just – this team's unbelievable. I really could see Edmonton will give them a run for their money because they have the two-headed monster, especially with all the drama surrounding McDavid with his contract. But I really think Vegas is going to have a chance to really make some noise this year. Right now, I would say them, and then Florida has a chance to three-peat. There's no doubt in my mind Florida has a chance to three-peat. It sucks. I was rooting for Edmonton.
Yeah, us too.
Both times. Just because I want to see McDavid get a cup. I rooted for Crosby. I rooted for Ovechkin. I liked Florida. I was happy for them the first time they won, but last year I was really, especially rooting for Edmonton. Right now, early prediction: Golden Knights over Panthers. That's my way too early September cup prediction.
All right, Vegas. I think the NHL world would love to see Vegas win another cup, right?
Yeah. Totally. Better than a three-peat, I'd say, but still.
better than a 4-3? Debatable.
Oh, you would get so many. I'm not watching this year, people, right as they're about to watch every single game with their eyes glued to the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Vinny, you've been super gracious with your time. We really appreciate you coming on. One last question. I asked you about Kaprizov. It's not an original question, but do you think McDavid resigns at the Oilers?
I do.
Yeah.
I think they will find a way to get it done. He did say, I want to win in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder, there is a part of me that wonders if they win the cup this year, he does walk because he won in Edmonton. He did what he said he was going to do. But if they don't, then he signs like a 3 or 4 year deal to stay with them on a short-term basis with his goal of winning in Edmonton. Do I think he's going to play his whole career with the Oilers? I do not. Wow. There will be a time where McDavid plays. I don't think he's going to sign an 8-year deal or anything like that. I do think a short-term deal is imminent, but it'll depend on how they do this year. As of right now, I would pick Vegas in a playoff series because of, again, Marner's going to create so many ways to play for them. All of their superstars are great defensively. Hurdle, Carlson, Stone, Eichel, Marner. All of those guys can kill penalties just as well as they play on the power play. So that'll be a struggle for Edmonton, but we'll see how they do this year. I do think he re-signs at least one more.
All right. You heard it here first. Thank you so much for coming on again, Vinny. We really appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day. Yeah.
Thank you guys very, very much. You guys do great work. Very happy and excited to have them on.
Of course. No, you're welcome back anytime, for sure. Really appreciate it. Hopefully a better season from the Hawks this year.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys at the United Center.
Of course. Yes, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
All right. That is Vinnie Paresi from the Hockey News. That was a great conversation. That was excellent.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Really enjoyed that one. He had some funny one-liners in that interview. Yeah, definitely a lot
talking about the PUMA.
He gave us a lot of clippable moments there, so really making our lives easier. We really appreciate that. Great interview. All right. I believe it's time. I can't believe it's taken us this long to bring it up. I believe it's Chicago Sports Talk time, our Monday segment where we talk about Chicago sports teams that aren't the Chicago Blackhawks. How about that Bears win last night, baby?
How did it take you guys this long to get into it?
Down.
Oh my gosh, I can't talk.
How
did it take you guys this long?
I don't know. The Bears enthusiasm almost exploded out of my body because I kept it in so long. I think Nolan has a bit more Bears excitement than me, though.
Oh, my word. All right. That was awesome. Obviously, first win since January in Lambeau. So it's been 9 months, especially the last 2 weeks. Getting embarrassed on national television, getting embarrassed by Detroit. You come out yesterday and you're just absolutely firing on all cylinders. My big takeaways were Caleb looked amazing.
I think that was his best game as a Bear.
That was his best game in his career.
4 touchdown passes.
Yes.
Yes.
All the 4 different wide receivers too.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one to Odunze, I think.
Bird in the third. That was his first touchdown. DJ Moore. Yeah, I love when the Williams-Moore connection delivers. That's always fun.
No, that's great for my fantasy team
Cole
too.
Komet as well.
Yeah. So I mean, finally. 4 different receivers. I think you got a taste of the future with Burden. I really do
impressive.
think. I'll get into Luther Burden in a little bit when we go into the 3 stars, but I just think that 100%. This is Caleb Williams' best game as a Bear. I thought the defense had a great bounce back week. 4 takeaways. I mean, you're going to win a lot of football games when you're winning the takeaway battle like that, 4-0 because the Bears didn't turn the ball over. That's another big thing too that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. The fumble with Swift in Detroit. Williams, another pick against Detroit. I just think that, it was all Bears all yesterday, and we needed that.
It's just nice to finally see a functioning offense. We haven't seen a Bears offense like this, really, and I can't even really remember.
Not since Mark Trussman with Jay Cutler that one year.
No, the 2018 offense, that was pretty special.
It was all right. The defense carried that. The defense carried that.
It was formidable. I would call the Trussman year. And, of course, that's the one year that the Bears' defense was awful for the first time ever, was when we had, an amazing offense with Mark Trussman and Cutler.
That second touchdown is going to live in my head rent-free.
The flea flicker?
That flea flicker. What was it, 63-yard pass to Bird in the third? I mean, that's a way to get your first touchdown style there. That was a beauty.
I think that's one of the coolest first touchdowns you can ever get.
Seriously, that was a highlight reel. We've been waiting for big plays like that from Williams.
That was Caleb Williams' longest completion of his career.
Is that right?
Yeah.
65-yard touchdown?
65-yard touchdown, yeah.
From basically first play, or what was it? I was not watching the game.
Yeah, it was the first play of the drive. I believe Dallas had just scored, and it was a flea flicker from Caleb took back at his own 22 and was on a dime to the other side of the field at the 18. I mean, you do some quick math there. That's 28. That's like a 60-yard throw on the dime.
Yeah, in air yards.
In air yards, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all credit to Ben Johnson. I mean, he's finally arrived. It was a rough
third
first
time's a
few
charm.
weeks,
Yeah,
but
third time's a charm.
This is why this man is here, because of the offensive creativity. He has so many weapons to use, and defense is never going to know which weapon he wants to use. I mean, everyone on that defense for the Cowboys thought a run was coming, and then that makes Luther just wide open for the touchdown.
I mean, yeah, there wasn't a Cowboy within 10 yards of him.
Yeah, just too easy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get a much better I thought, a lot of people have said that, it was not really a great throw. You're throwing 60 yards down the field. Come on.
What are we doing here?
What are we thinking here? It might have been rage bait. It definitely could have been rage bait.
Probably was Packers fans rage baiting. Which they lost yesterday too, so good day to be a Bears fan.
It was Lions fans. Shout out Evan. Evan was trying to rage bait me with that throw because he's a little salty that Ben Johnson's not with him anymore.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Evan.
Go Ravens tonight, Evan.
Go Ravens.
But yeah, overall, that game was kind of what I expected to see this year. That's what I expected to see out of the Ben Johnson Bears, and good to see it. I was just waiting for them to find a way to screw it up. And they didn't. For 4 quarters, it was just a solid, straightforward win, which is something, if you're a Bears fan, we haven't really seen much of, the last, since I've been a fan pretty much.
I mean, that was pretty much wire to wire. I mean, the first quarter looked a little bit ropey just because, Dallas was driving down the field, and then you got, the interception, you got the fumble, and you limited them to field goals. But I think just wire to wire, the defense looked great. Obviously, four takeaways. I don't know what you guys thought about the Bayard interception at the end of the game.
I mean, that was a ceiling catch for the game, obviously. Was it the previous drive where the Cowboys were also in the red zone that we picked them off?
Tremaine Edmonds at the goal line. Right. Yeah, fourth and goal. Yeah,
Bayard,
yeah, he had 2 interceptions. I thought this was his best game as a Bear too. Obviously, being one of the big free agent tickets a couple years ago, having overpaid for him in my personal opinion, but I definitely do think that Tremaine Edmonds had his best game as a Bear.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I saw a lot of discourse about his money he's making versus the numbers he's put up since joining the Bears. But I thought yesterday, it was a good game to shut up the haters a little bit there.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I mean, good to see a loss for Matt Eberflus in his return to Soldier Field.
He thought he was getting a revenge
coordinator
game
for the Cowboys. He's like you said, he's used to losing at Soldier Field. We've seen it plenty of times. Being the Bears' offensive coach for a few years there. So glad he's gone. Glad we have a competent coach who knows what he's doing now. And another Cowboys disaster class. We are all here for it.
I did see a tweet where it was like, yeah, finally Matt Eberflus is developing Caleb Williams.
I remember seeing Cowboys fans saying, "Man, Eberflus is really going to shut down Caleb Williams today," and that didn't quite happen there.
Absolutely
he
not.
had the best game of his career against his former coach.
100%.
So you don't think he was pretty motivated going to that game, especially the way I think the whole squad, especially the way that Lions game went, it was sort of a bit of a wake up call. Maybe that was maybe I'm coping right now. Maybe that was a necessary evil to go through, right? Because they played well week 1. Yeah, they lost the game, but for 75% of that game against the Vikings, they were the better team. That was a disastrous, one of the worst losses I've seen performances in week 2, and this was the complete opposite. So it's the bounce back performance you want to see, and just hope they could carry it forward a week 4 against the Raiders, I believe, right?
Yeah, going to Las Vegas, 3:25 on Sunday. I did find it kind of interesting though that there was a lot of people who were outcasts in the Eberflus era. Montez Sweat was paid a lot of money. He got a sack yesterday. Tremaine Edmonds was paid a lot of money. Didn't look good last year. He got 2 picks yesterday. Roma Dunze, obviously, I don't think he really developed last year. Now he's turning into that number 1 wide receiver that you drafted.
He's been good for a touchdown a game. Is there a single game he hasn't had a touchdown pass?
He had 2 touchdowns in the Detroit game, and then 1 touchdown in the Vikings game, 1 touchdown in the Cowboys game. 4 touchdowns leads the league.
No way.
So does Caleb in passing touchdowns.
Until tonight when I think either Lamar or Jared Goff overtakes him. But we still have him for right now.
It's primetime football, so it'll be a field goal show.
Hopefully.
We can get into that later on Weber's Wagers. That's right.
There we go. But yeah, no, 100%. I think this is the best game that I've seen from the Bears in a very long time.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it doesn't look like the Bears I remember at all.
No.
It was like watching a different team. It's so weird watching Bears football and being like, I actually am enjoying watching this right now.
Yeah.
Normally when I watch the Bears, I question my life choices after the game.
Yeah,
so
truly.
It was really nice just to see a straightforward victory. And hopefully, again, that's just one. That's just one.
Yeah.
Hopefully more to come here.
Last little Bears tidbit. shout out to Caleb Williams for throwing 4 touchdowns, because if you are in the city and you like hot dogs, the Wiener Circle is giving out free hot dogs because Caleb threw 4 touchdowns.
Tomorrow,
So
yeah. We saw
Caleb
that.
just gave a lot of Chicagoans free lunch. Shout out Caleb.
Where is that at tomorrow and where?
The Wiener Circle in Wrigleyville.
Wiener Circle, is that
Really?
Yeah.
Free hot dogs tomorrow at Wiener Circle because
Wow.
Caleb threw 4 tutties.
Is it like a specific time? Is it
All day?
I'll have to check their Twitter, but they posted like that tweet on Friday that if he does it, we'll do it. And they were live tweeting through the game, like, oh, almost there. And then they tagged Vienna Beef, hey, want to help chip in on this? So it doesn't make us
We
go
might
broke.
have to stop by, yeah.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow, right?
We shall see, yeah.
And
little field trip.
one last thing I want to bring up about the Ben Johnson win. I mean, this is his first win as a head coach, and he said in the post-game presser, he's like, yeah, I mean, we're going to celebrate this tonight, but it's back on to business. We got Las Vegas on Sunday. So I love that mentality coming from him. I mean, obviously, we're going to celebrate this. This is the first win in a while, but I love it. I love it.
The Bears are so close to 2-1 as well. Like, imagine that Vikings.
They should be 2-1. They should be
That game
2-1.
doesn't implode like it does. We're sitting at 2-1 with like a much different outlook.
We're
on the season.
week 3 and we're already playing the what if game. We truly are Chicago Bears.
Yeah. I already failed my take of last week of I'm not going to give into the hopium of Bears.
And now
anymore.
we're back now we're back into Lulu land. That's what we
The
do.
masculine urge
We
to
knew
say
this
we're
was
so
gonna
back
happen.
after being down 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. After saying it's over, that's life as a Chicago Bears fan, a Chicago sports fan in general. So, but yeah, no, good to see for sure. All right, I believe it's time. I imagine we'll get some repeats here, but I think it's time for our 3 stars of the week, baby.
Yeah, there we
Monday,
go.
3 stars of the week.
you guys
Let's
actually
go.
mind if I go first on
Sure.
this?
Let's hear it.
Absolutely. Let's hear him.
Celeb shot.
Because I got a good 3 stars of the week, and I will have no repeats in this one. So my 3rd star of the week is the Toronto Blue Jays, who clinched their spot in the playoffs yesterday. Shout out my Jays! Awesome season. George Springer having a nice bounce back. Getting Vladdy. Yeah,
He's unreal this
He's
year.
unreal
Like, the
this
second
year.
half has been nuts. But yeah, shout out for
Fun tidbit about the Blue Jays, and hopefully this can change this season. Vladimir Guerrero and Bo Bichette have not won a playoff game yet.
Yeah, that and the Guerrero extension was looming over. They got it done. Bichette still needs a contract, and 18 home runs on the year isn't really gonna make it. So they're gonna want to give him the bag. But listen, the pitching has
Shane
always
Bieber.
Yeah, and the Trey Savage that they called up the other day, like
Very good player.
very good player. So. Normally when the pitching looks like it's going to be a problem for them in October, it actually looks like it might be a strength. So looking forward to that. My 2nd star of the week is Italian Ice.
Ooh.
I went to get, where was it called? What was the place
Is it
called? I went-
Miko's?
It was Miko's. I went
down
to
on
Miko's.
Irving over there.
And I don't know if I said this on the show. I think I said it to you guys off air, but
Yes.
a fat guy move of mine that I like to pull is every time I go get Italian Ice, I do get 2 Italian Ices and I crush them back to back. One like fruity one and one like more sweet
Savory,
chocolatey.
yeah.
Yeah. They had like a banana chip one. It was unbelievable. So
Banana chip.
but then I got like a raspberry mango mix on the second one. It was good. So 2 Italian Ices is my 2nd star of the week. And my 1st star of the week is my Loyola Chicago men's hockey team picking up their first win of the year. We played the University of Wisconsin Platteville. We were in Dubuque, Iowa this weekend. We played at the Dubuque Fighting Saints Arena. Really beautiful arena. A lot of Johnny Gaudreau stuff because he spent 1 year there and he won the
I had a really good season there.
he won the championship there his only year. So he wore number 8 when he was on the Fighting Saints. So
That's cool to have a little section for him.
yeah. They put his number in the rafters last year after the accident. And, it was a really good game. Yeah, it took us until the second one on Saturday to get the win, but we did skate away with a 3-1 win.
Well done.
And we got 2 games this weekend against Wash U in St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're coming up here. So we're going to try and even up the record, get back to 500 here with a couple of wins on the weekend. But yeah.
You brought up that Johnny Gaudreau tidbit that he wore 8 in Dubuque. It's kind of interesting that Cole Caulfield changed his number from 22 to 13 this year. And what did he wear in juniors? 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, just the similarities there. That's the first thing that popped in my head.
Nolan, big numbers guy over there.
I'm a big Cole Caulfield guy, man. You see me with my Cole Caulfield. Yeah.
I was
So-
a fan of his. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And also, and I'm not going to say anybody by name, but also my bonus 1st star of the week is us for not taking any shit from anybody. You know, I won't call out. I mean, anybody who's reading the chat obviously probably saw that, but you know, I'm just not going to let anybody treat us like that. Like that's unbelievable. You know, no, CHR to the moon. You know, anybody that comes on this show is like lucky to come on this show and allow us, especially when you got like 200 followers on Instagram and 700 on Twitter. So, you know, don't. First star of the week, us, for not taking any crap from anybody.
Not
taking any crap from anybody. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
I always got my dogs here.
Amen. There we go.
Appreciate that. But thanks to Vinnie, by the way, for coming on. He was great.
Vinnie was awesome.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, that was
really
awesome.
Enjoyed him. Good conversation for sure. All right. Who would like to go number 2? All right.
I'll slide right in here.
Yeah.
All right. Leading it off with my 3rd star of this past week. The bowling alley I work at just installed a frozen coffee machine that they're selling, but you know, employees can kind of hit that up too.
More coffee talk?
Like
Frozen coffee?
like slushy coffee.
Oh.
It's like you know, like a 7-Eleven slushy, but it's French vanilla coffee flavor or pumpkin spice coffee flavor.
Oh, that sounds so
And
good.
There we
it's like,
go.
Right when I get there in the morning, whenever I have a shift, it's just the biggest pick me up ever. You know, sweet, nice, cold. Like I don't like making a black hot coffee and standing in the hot bowling alley like office. Like it's just very uncomfortable. So to be able to have a nice frozen coffee, it's getting cold soon. Maybe I won't be drinking these for too long, but while it's warm out, I'm gonna enjoy my French vanilla freezy.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
happy for you, man. That sounds like a good setup you got there
Dude,
now.
saved my week, to be honest.
You're back now?
Dude, we were down and we're back. Yeah,
We are
Very nice.
so back.
can't stay knocked down.
Very nice.
Frozen coffee is so good.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
it's delicious. Yeah,
shout
it's
out,
delicious.
shout out the big Cafe Tango machine at work.
Always got to start my day
Not
with
sponsored.
coffee.
Not sponsored.
for sure.
So, second star of my week is also not sponsored, but DraftKings has a early exit insurance for bets if one of your players gets injured in the first quarter for player prop bets. So I had a Bears bet that had, you know, like Bears covering the spread of 1 point. That hit.
You said you weren't going to do that on Friday.
Yeah, I know.
Changed his mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't give it out as a play on Weber's wager, but I put a parlay in. It was like Caleb passing yards, Caleb 2 touchdown passes, the over for the game of like 40 points, and then a CeeDee Lamb touchdown and a Colston Loveland touchdown. Both those players got hurt in the first quarter, and shout out the insurance at DraftKings. I still won my bet, even though both guys didn't score, obviously.
There we go.
Because
Not
they got
sponsored.
hurt. So yeah, that's pretty cool, you know, giving the gamblers a little bit of edge there, you know, in case a guy gets first play of the game disqualified or hurt.
Yeah, very fitting for you.
So
yeah.
I won a bet that I really lost. So thank you, DraftKings. Not sponsored at all.
Very nice. Yeah.
And you know, we're on a roll here with saying not sponsored, but I'm a big Jersey Mike's fan. That's like my go-to sandwich spot, right?
You like a Mike's way?
Absolutely.
But yeah, except the red vinegar because I don't like too much like moisture on my sandwich. I'll do olive oil on it, just not the red
You don't,
wine
you don't
vinegar.
let Mike put moisturize your
I
sandwich?
don't like Mike. Let Mike have his way with it.
No.
But yeah, so they also are doing an NFL pick challenge now. So like you get rewards for each sandwich you buy.
Ooh.
But
Yeah.
now when you go into the app, you can select up to 8 like winners of NFL games that week. And if you're right for each one, you get a point. So you can get free 8 points up to 8 points a week if you get all those picks right. And I believe they're bringing it back for NHL season as well. So if
yeah.
you have the Jersey Mike's app, like you're a regular, you know, you order.
Well, I don't
sometimes.
right now, but I might have to get it.
You
if
might
that's the
have
case.
to because
Yeah.
you can just, you know, use your ball and puck knowledge to like pick teams every weekend and they throw you free rewards points and you can stack those up to redeem a free sub here and there.
I believe Tim Hortons up in Canada did a similar thing a couple of years ago with
recall.
NHL picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recall that. Yeah, not that I was in Canada, but I often mean Canada for tournaments and
maybe
stuff.
Michigan
Yeah.
is the closest we could
Yeah,
get. to
Michigan
NFL.
or-
There should be Tim Hortons in Illinois and Chicago. What's up with that?
Hey, if we're expanding Portillo's, I think that they should expand Tim Hortons to here.
It's a big market. Like they're in U.S. locations. We're close
Yeah.
to Canada. Like why not? Why not? I don't understand that. Yeah, for sure.
Shout out J Mike's. That's really cool because like even if you're not even purchasing anything, you can just go, you know, pick the teams if you know puck or you know football, get some free food.
Love it.
Yeah, shout out them. I got a free sandwich this past weekend.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, very good there. All right, I think I'll go third. I'll save the best for last over there, right?
As you always do.
All right, third star of the week. More Bears talk, but I got Caleb Williams has got to be a star. Like I know I've been hard on him a little bit because the expectations are high with him, similar to another first overall pick from Chicago. But tough start to the year. But man, that third game that looked like the player that we drafted. Man, I think that was his best game as a Bear. Looked really confident all game. Love to see it. Some beautiful touchdown passes, beautiful connections. Like that's what I want to see. That's just one game though. I want to see that going forward. But it's nice to see what he can do if a coach who knows what he's doing, could draw up the systems. That's just what you want to see from Caleb Williams. So he's my third star of the week. Very clear. I had to get a Bears guy in there, and he seemed like the guy. I thought about Johnson, but no, Caleb Williams, third star of the week for me.
There we go.
And then number 2 star of the week, mostly because I met him last week. Frank Nazar, he's got to be in there, man. Frank the Tank's got to be in there. Impressed me a lot, just watch him in practice through training camp. But he just seems really motivated this season. Really excited to see what he can do this year. I imagine we'll see his name again in the 3 stars of the week at some point. But no, just a really nice guy. Nice to be able to meet him, and just really excited to see what he can do this year. So I have to give a shout out to Frank the Tank, big Frank the Tank guy. I think we all are.
Man, I love Frank.
Man, I love Frank. You know it, man. You know it. And my first star of the week is your Baku winner, Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen. Big win for him in F1. Back-to-back wins. He wins at Monza. He wins in Azerbaijan. He might be back in the championship, boys. The McLaren boys are imploding over there. Oscar Piastri crashed out. Lando Norris fumbled the bag. I think Verstappen's got a chance to win his 5th consecutive championship this year. He's 69 points behind Piastri. Nice. And I believe he's around 50 behind Norris. So he needs to win out probably. And the McLaren boys probably have to have some wrecks or something, but some luck to go his way. But he definitely seems to have that Red Bull car dial back in. He seems to be right there at the McLarens now. So as a Verstappen fan, as a supporter, as a Glazer, I love to see it, and good to see him getting wins in F1 land.
So just for the people at home, Justin, how does the point system work?
How does the point system work? Well, there's 20 positions from 1 to 20, so it just sort of goes down the order there. The winner gets the most points, then it subtracts with each one.
The winner gets 20?
Like Mario Kart.
25 points to the winner, then 18, 12. It just goes down.
It's just like Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. You get 1 for 5th place and 5 for first place.
It's like Mario Kart Wii. It's exactly pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Not the exact same point system. But
now I understand it.
Same idea. So, but yeah, no, I think Verstappen was my clear. He may have already. I think he was my first star for the first time we did this.
I think he was.
So I already have a couple repeats here, but hopefully down the line we won't be doing that. But I think once the NHL season gets going, it'll be a little easier. But
maybe
Max Verstappen.
He might win your first star of the year if he gets mentioned again. Maybe we'll tally that and see how many times.
If he wins the championship, he'll definitely
we'll send him a CHR plaque if he gets that.
For sure, I'm sure that would be nice. All right, last but not least, Nolan, give us your 3 stars.
Here we go. Yeah. Throw it over to the producer cam. Yeah. All right, so for my 3rd star of the week, in a celebratory fashion last night, me and my dad have been debating on because it's just been him and I this weekend. My mom's up in Wisconsin having a trip with my grandma and her friends. So third star of the week, give me Lou Malnati's. Specifically the pizza that I ordered last night.
You had those this weekend too?
Yes, I did.
I had those on Friday night.
All right, what did you have as your toppings?
Toppings? Just pepperoni.
Okay, just pepperoni.
Yeah, pepperoni.
I put, so my dad and I compromised because he's usually a sausage and spinach guy. And
sausage and spinach.
It's like their signature.
Good. Oh, the Lou Classic.
The Lou Classic,
and the big tomatoes with it too.
Yeah.
The tomatoes is fair.
So that we didn't order 2 pizzas, we just ordered 1 pizza. We did Italian beef and green pepper.
Dude, you should have done Italian beef jardiniere.
Yeah, we were thinking about that. I've had that before. It's delicious, but I didn't think we wanted all the spice and stuff like that. But I think it was just absolutely delicious.
Sounds good.
I still got half the pizza in the refrigerator at home, so hopefully my dad doesn't take that over. There. Yes, I do. Yeah,
I think I finished with leftovers. There might be some salad.
Yeah, so after CHR today, I think I might have to pull the trigger on some heated up pizza.
That's the nice thing, Luminize. I feel like it's just as good when you have it after the fact as leftover.
Yeah,
you can have it cold, you can have it warm. Either way, it's still going to taste good.
So. Oh no, absolutely delicious. I mean,
Lou's is right.
That's my place. Yeah, of course, deep dish.
Yeah, right.
Deep dish, butter crust. I mean, we got it well done too. I love the crisp.
Yeah, gotta do well done, I'd say.
Very nice. I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
No free ads, but we are giving a crazy amount of free ads.
I was going to say.
I'm the one person who didn't do it so far.
We're nothing if not consumers in a world. So that's true. That's unavoidable to a point, but we should try to avoid it.
Yeah, we should.
Well,
but
I think that's our way of being like, hey, sponsor us.
Or hey, if anybody from Lose is listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That'd be like a white whale sponsor for me. I love Lose.
It's the best pizza in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I debated between my number 2 and number 1. Look in the show notes. I think I might flip flop on you guys. My number 2 star of the week. Shout out to Luther Burden III. Changed his jersey number 3 times. Doesn't matter. The production on the field is still there. He's a local guy too. He played in Illinois high school football for East St. Louis down near St. Louis, one of the best teams in the state. But I've been following him ever since, Mizzou. Actually, last year while working at college football, I had him penciled in as my Heisman winner because of the way that his 2023 season went. I am a very big Luther Burden guy, and just seeing that, I said it once, I'll say it again. That was the coolest first touchdown you will ever see.
That's high praise.
Yeah, very high praise. He had his like warrior pose as like his signature celebration. Now, I'll say this: I talk a lot about the Blackhawks prospects having good sellies. The Bears wide receiver group also has very good sellies.
There's such insane aura there.
Yeah.
After the first touchdown of the game, Odunze, like they had a pretty cool celly.
Yeah. Odunze's been on fire with his, and then Jade Walker.
Yep.
Yeah, the Juby slide.
So Williams to Odunze, Bedard to Nazar. Is Odunze like the Nazar of the Bears prospect pool?
Yes.
You say, then Williams is Bedard. Yeah, there.
Yeah. So
like that.
I mean, if Odunze is looking like the number 1 wide receiver right now, just imagine what it's going to mean for Frank the Tank.
Exactly, man. I love to hear that.
And then my first star of the week. It is not a person. It is a group of people. The third quarter of that Bears game, we took possession over after the Cowboys went and scored a touchdown, I believe. They took 10 minutes off the clock, 19 plays, 76 yards, ended on a 4th down and goal to go. Williams to Moore. The Williams to Moore connection hooked up. I think that was the best drive I've ever seen as a Bears fan.
I can't disagree with that at all.
Wow. So you've seen a couple records been broken for you. You've seen the most impressive opening touchdown, the most impressive drive in one game.
Yes. No, that's just how good the Bears were yesterday. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes. And I think just that, 19 plays, you're killing the clock. You're only up 10. Like you're giving Dallas really not a lot of room to go.
The defense is like the most tired they've ever been after that. I mean,
yeah.
And it's all runs too. There was not too much pass on that drive. It was like majority run plays.
Majority run plays, yes. And then ended off with the Williams to Moore connection, which helped my fantasy team out. So
that was beautiful. Want to see more of that. We saw a glimpse of that last year. I'd like to see more of it this year for sure.
Yeah. And then it's kind of a bonus star for me. I went 4-0 in fantasy this week.
Oh wow! Look at you,
yeah,
Mr. 4 leagues over here.
I did a fantasy hockey draft this weekend.
How did that go? You were talking to me about that yesterday.
Yeah, I got Team Unction. I got Kane, Crosby, and Ovi on the same team. So I'm not sure how that worked out, but yeah, I basically drafted my team like it was 2016. So
awesome.
We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, hopefully Ovi turns back the clock. You get another 40-goal season. Hopefully Kane comes back to his form and.
Crosby can always count on.
I mean, Crosby is one of the most reliable people in the NHL to put up at least a point per game if he's healthy.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Yeah, I was basically going for team vibes. Yeah, for sure.
Team vibes. Wow. So you're
no, don't say that name. Don't say that name.
Okay.
Did you message them to let them know that they're on your fantasy team?
No. I probably should. Hey, just a little bit of extra motivation. I know, Ovi, you're not chasing the goal record anymore. You already have it, but you are on my fantasy team this year. So something to keep in mind there going into what might be your final season.
Is the name of your team appropriate for air?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
I respect that you acknowledge that.
I'll keep it under wraps there. Yeah, it definitely is not. All right. I think
I was gonna say I was gonna ask for a good fantasy team name out of Nolan since he has 4. There has to be a good one he can share with 4 teams.
For hockey or football?
For
football.
Since you went 4-0.
All right. So. All right, that one's not good for air. That one's not good for air.
Jeez, guys, come on.
So it's a bit of a pattern
you know what?
here.
What kind of groups are you in?
We're having fun, but we just can't talk about it on air. You know what? I will give you one. The one that does have Williams and Moore on it. Metro Boomin wants some more.
There we go.
It's that's creative.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, I'll give myself props for that one. If you want to DM the CHR account and see what other names are, I probably won't give them to you still. But
Mine
Stick
is
taps for Nolan.
University of Georgia Driving School.
That's good. I like that one.
That's pretty funny.
We should do
All
a
right.
CHR fantasy
Yeah,
team league.
I
That'd be
like
fun
that.
for hockey. Yeah,
should
that'd
do.
be fun.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe we could like get some listeners in. Hey,
Yeah.
how about we do this? You're only allowed in the CHR fantasy group if you order merchandise. If you order merchandise and you send us the receipt.
Yeah, we need
If you
proof.
send us the receipt.
yeah,
We
that'd
need
be great.
proof. Yes.
That is how you can get in.
I like that.
And depending on how the next couple of weeks go of merchandise sales, we might do a little fun stuff to try and push it a little bit more. Maybe you'll be entered in a raffle of some kind. You know, if you order some merchandise, maybe we'll decide off air.
A lot of thoughts swirling around here in the CHR
Lot of
office.
ideas.
We got a lot of creativity here, and we can't wait to share with y'all.
Idea making,
I looked
entrepreneurship.
I looked up this frozen coffee machine, the Cafe Tango. Either I'm going to have to stop into the bowling alley for a frozen coffee one of these days, or we're just going to have to get one of these for the office.
Guess what?
Ooh, I like that idea.
This is what the guy in charge of the ordering stuff for the bowling alley, he said, this machine was free. We just pay the company for the product.
Oh, okay.
Which was very interesting. You know, I don't
That is
think,
interesting.
but for us, we're not going to get foot traffic and sell any. So we'll have to take a different route on that.
No, but if we're drinking Cafe Tango coffee on every single
They'll have to
show,
sponsor us.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for them too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can get in
I don't
touch.
hate that at all.
We'll see if we can get in
Wouldn't
touch.
hate a French vanilla frozen coffee in my hand right now
It's not,
either.
it doesn't look like a big thing either. Like it looks pretty small. the
Yeah,
machine.
it would fit on half this table, like maybe even a quarter of it.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Let's see
right.
what we can do.
Yeah. We'll see about that. I believe we have time for one more segment. We're just doing them all back to back today. Screw it. It's time for Weber's Wagers. What we got today, Charlie?
That's right.
Yeah.
Weber's Wagers. Hope you guys are ready for hopefully a winning week of betting. This weekend was not kind to me on the public picks.
You win some, you lose some.
Of course, you win the parlay that you put in without telling anyone. That's
Right.
How that
Yeah, it
goes.
would have been
how
nice
that
if you
works.
shared that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Charlie.
I think I sent you a loser. So before we get into any betting lines and discussion about the teams, I'll just have to give a brief disclaimer.
Yes.
So
disclaim us.
disclaim you. All right. The following content may discuss topics related to gambling. Gambling can be addictive and not suitable for all individuals. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Please gamble responsibly and be aware of the risks.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right.
The disclaimer is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, me too, honestly. It's it really gets me locked in.
There we go.
To win some money here.
That's why I
So,
get up in the morning to hear your disclaimer.
I can send you a voice recording if you want.
Please do.
Oh, I would totally put that as my clock alarm. Are you kidding me?
That's what I listen to before I go to sleep.
So, pretty small slate in terms of sports today. We have one Monday Night Football game and we have 3 MLB games.
Dirty slate.
Dirty slate. Yeah, it's not
Nasty.
too much to get excited about here, but we do have 2 picks today in 2 different games. The first pick is on the diamond. Freddie Peralta is on the mound. Nick Pivetta is on the mound. Brewers at the Padres. Yeah, that's right. In San Diego at Petco Park. 17-win season so far for Peralta. Pivetta is not a slouch either. 15-win season. They're both about a 2.7 ERA, but
Very
I
very
think
good.
I'm just betting the line today. The Brewers are like 7 wins better than the Padres this year. This is crunch time when they need to get rolling for the playoffs. They've kind of been up and down here, but I think today with Peralta on their mound, he's the Brewers guy. He's been there forever. Even money line, so bet your bet and get that same amount back. It's at plus 100, so we're taking the Brewers money line as much as it pains me as a Cubs fan.
It pains me too.
But
Yeah.
I think this is the pick today at the Padres.
I think if you think of it on the flip side too, the Cubs want to clinch home field advantage, right?
yeah, exactly.
So that's why we're betting against the Padres.
against the Padres. That's right. 'Cause,
Padres are banned.
The White Sox did not help us too much with the Padres.
Yeah,
this
thanks a lot,
weekend.
Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, well, I mean, your first mistake was betting on the White Sox.
Oh no, I didn't have.
I
money
could have
on
told
them.
you.
We're
was
not
gonna play
that
out.
silly.
Just hope for them.
But a little bit, quick little White Sox talk, though. It was nice to see them honor Jose Abreu over the weekend.
That's right.
Yeah, that was
That's
very
right.
cool.
He came back, rookie of the year for them, AL MVP for them in 2020, the shortened season, albeit, but still an MVP. So yeah, that was cool to kind of see him return after kind of a failed stint in Houston with the Astros.
Yeah, it didn't quite go well. Yeah, I have
good
his
for
jersey. Things haven't been the same since he left. I just had to get that in there. Big Jose Abreu guy.
I know he loves the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
It was cool to see them. Hopefully there was a big enough crowd for it there.
Yeah, very funny. But yeah, good to see some baseball legends like Rizzo and Abreu honored. Yeah. All right, get back to your bet.
And then our second bet for Monday Night Football, we're taking the under because it's primetime football. Lions and Ravens. I mean, everyone saw what the Lions did last week, and they're thinking, "What are you doing taking an under?" But this is the Ravens on a primetime game. This is all they've been thinking about all week, and I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. And as nearly as an offensive battle as it was with Bears Lions. My boy Roquan Smith in there for the Ravens is going to help keep things under control.
Don't forget about Kyle Hamilton back there.
Kyle Hamilton, shout out Notre Dame.
One of my favorite Notre Dame players of all time. I love Kyle Hamilton.
So yeah, I just don't think that there's going to be too much to note here on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Goff is not going to throw for 4 touchdowns again. Lamar even is going to be struggling against a still solid Lions defense, as we saw last week against the Bears, obviously. But yeah, I think primetime games, they already have a very, historically high percentage of the under hitting. And I think after the first 2 weeks these teams have had, obviously the Ravens scored 40 in week 1. The Lions put up over 40 last week against the Bears. I think it's time for a cool down on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
two good defenses going up against each other. You're going to see a lot of running from Gibbs, Montgomery on the one side, and then you got Lamar and Henry on the other side. So
Lamar, Henry, and who's their backup running back?
Justice Hill.
Hill, that's right.
Oh.
More of a fullback body, it seems like sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a good pass catcher.
That's right. But yeah, 45, not 45, flip that number with dyslexia. 54.5 is the over-under, and we are taking the under in that game.
Love it.
All right. Best of luck. I hope you have a more successful Monday slate than the weekend slate.
2-0. 2-0.
Yes. we
Cafe
shall see.
Tango has been reached out to.
There we
Go.
go.
Shout out
They-
Cafe Tango.
They've
right.
been reached out to.
Awaiting news
Love to
there.
see it.
Here we go.
Have you guys gone over any of this stuff that I sent you guys? The Ovi quote? Did you talk Ovi?
Yeah, we've spoken about a few NHL topics. Yes.
Did you talk about the Yotes?
Oh, we did not talk about the Coyotes.
Not the Coyotes, no.
So
no
this
Coyotes
is
talk.
this is from Craig Morgan. I don't know if he still works for PHNX, but he was arguably like one of the bigger guys covering the Coyotes, especially towards the end there.
I would probably say the biggest.
Yeah, definitely the biggest guy covering the Yotes. So from Craig Morgan, breaking Andrea Doan, who I assume is the wife of former Yotes captain.
I could do some research on that.
I assume it's his wife. To chair an advisory committee that hopes to bring the NHL back to Arizona.
Wow, we shall see. It'd be nice. I'm cheering for Arizona. I'm cheering for them. I think there's a market there. I'd like to see them with the right, ownership management group get a team back. That'd be nice for that.
To update,
state.
that is Mrs. Shane Down.
It is Mrs. Shane Doan.
Yes.
Okay.
And headed by that's even better, right? I mean, nobody more, I think, impactful to that franchise than Shane Doan. So hopefully we could see that. That would be nice.
So then you got to think who's their first expansion guy that they have. They bring back Josh Down.
Interesting.
Josh Doan.
Josh Doan.
repeating history here.
Yeah, because
Bring him on from the Sabres now.
from the Sabres now. I totally forgot. I totally misremembered that because he was in the
Kesselring.
him and Michael Kessering for JJ Petorka.
Yeah,
Still,
one of the trades of all
That's
time.
crazy.
4 months later, that's still crazy.
Did you see they have JJ Petorka on the power play too with Logan Cooley?
That's gonna be nasty. I think he's gonna make him pay for that trade.
I think they should be on power play one. They have I forgot who they had. I'm sorry, Nick Schmaltz, former Hawk, but
Blackhawks legend. Nick
probably
Schmaltz.
should have Cooley and Petorka. on
Probably
there
like
instead.
Lawson Krause up there too.
That is a little
Yeah, I don't
strange to hear that. They're on the second unit there.
Okay, so the NHL is not expanding to Arizona though. It's going to be Atlanta first and Houston, I imagine.
Yeah, I feel like
I mean, there's a
Houston.
ton of teams you can go into, a ton of cities you can go look at. I mean, I've been saying Houston since Vegas expanded 10 years ago. Another city like Portland or New Orleans or bringing back Quebec City. Potentially,
Yeah, that's always been
They're
a
not
pipe
gonna-
dream.
Gary
The
Bettman's not
economy,
gonna
it's
do
never
it.
going to happen. Houston, I think, makes logistical sense. Being the biggest untapped market,
Yeah.
American or Canadian. But I feel like we've been here in Houston. I feel like Atlanta is probably the most likely. They've already been there twice, and be nice to bring back the Thrashers. I don't know.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
branding was always successful, so I'd like to see. I like to see Atlanta. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Is there a certain point for all of you where the NHL gets
Too big.
too big?
36.
It's hard to know exactly what
That's
that
the
number.
limit. That's 36 is the limit.
Until I see 36.
I'll be honest.
More than that, I think I agree with Nolan. I think like if you go to 38 or 40, you're kind of 36 or 34 kind of sounds like an ideal number to end at.
I'll be honest. I kind of like where we're at. I like 32 teams. I like 16 in the playoffs, 16 out, but it just doesn't seem like business is business. If the NHL can expand, if they have facilities to expand, they will. And there's definitely more American markets on that in play there. So I like 32. I think we've kind of already reached that, to be honest. But yeah, I would say realistically, if we are to expand, I've only really want a couple more teams.
I will say I like 32 thoughts a lot more than 36 thoughts.
Well, that just
36 thoughts.
Oh my goodness,
34
gracious.
thoughts.
Yeah, it
32
just doesn't.
it doesn't sound
I
right.
mean,
at
33 thoughts, but then at the same time, like it's all uneven. I hate uneven numbers. Like
Remember
But wasn't
31
it
thoughts?
Yeah, it was
Remember 31
yeah, it
thoughts?
was
Yeah, I
31, but
remember.
then
That's
you
how
got
I remember it.
You got the missing piece to make it 32 to make it even. Like I like how it is now, 4 divisions, 8 teams.
Yeah, it's a perfect mix. It's a perfect balance. So like, why screw that up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the reason is
Money.
Yeah, money talks.
Yeah.
I get
Money,
it.
money,
I
Those
get it.
owners, the owners love the potential for a $2 billion expansion fee price tag, because if you think about it, like how much Vegas was 500 mil to get in, and then Seattle was 850, I want to say, and the next one is going to be over $1 billion.
Oh,
So,
easily.
No, we shall see what. But at this point, we might need 2 leagues at this point. The way it's trending, if we're just going to keep expanding, we'll just do it baseball style and have like 2 separate kind of leagues the way they do it versus conferences.
Do you think there's any like possibility in the world? I feel like I've seen people discuss this, but of a current city that only has 1 team getting a second.
But Toronto's always been the one that's been brought up. I mean, New York already has 2. Toronto, like the Toronto area, like maybe like Hamilton or something like that.
Chicago?
I don't want anything taken
do
away
you
from the
think
Hawks.
the city could support a second hockey team?
I think
They can support 2 baseball teams.
Milwaukee
They have
could.
supported 2 football teams
But,
in the
like,
past.
I just don't
Milwaukee could. That's
I think
call.
yeah. I would do it to Milwaukee. I mean, the NHL's kind of already been experimenting. They've had a few preseason games there, I think, for a reason. I don't think they're just doing that for fun.
They've
like,
had
I think
the AHL for years as well.
yeah, the Admirals
So-
have been successful, and they're already playing out of the Bucks place. So I think that kind of work out nicely. I think there's a market there in Milwaukee for those Packers fans who don't have to cheer for the Hawks anymore. They can just cheer for that Milwaukee team. So
You would not be in favor though of like a South Side hockey team.
no
I-
other team in Chicago.
I
Just
don't
fine.
Really?
think I don't think it could garner support.
Bring get a women's team here. I'm not interested
Okay.
in another
I'd
NHL
rather
team.
see a
Yeah.
PWHL team than an
Another
NHL team
NHL.
here.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
Yeah, I don't want another NHL team here.
What do you think about Providence or like Portland? These smaller
Portland,
cities?
yes.
Portland,
I
maybe
Providence,
a
no.
rivalry of Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vancouver too. I think that is something.
think
there.
And I think
Portland
Portland's already shown that they can support a WHL team with
Yeah,
the
the
Portland
Winterhawks
Winterhawks.
are one of the more
right.
successful
Yeah.
franchises. There,
Guys like
so.
Seth Jarvis, guys like he who shall not be named coming out of there. So,
Right.
Seth Jones.
oh, come on.
He was always destined to be a Hawk.
or were you talking about Brandon Leipzig? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was talking about the former rather than the latter.
Yeah.
Ty Ratty? No, I'm sorry. I'll stop naming
Hey,
it.
we've been doing this off air. We can make this into a segment.
I know it should be, honestly. Did you see this other thing I sent that the San Jose? Is this
President's
real or
Trophy?
is this fake news?
Wrong year.
This thing that I sent, the San Jose Sharks hang a President's Trophy banner from a year that they finished 11th
I
in the
did
NHL.
see that.
Well, that is
I saw
something that is something that they would do over there. More banner talk. I remember when the Predators were raised a banner when they won like some regular season divisional championship, and now the Sharks are getting their years wrong. But that's classic San Jose right there. It's something they would screw up. That's funny.
I mean, this is worse than that.
That's terrible.
They were 11th in the NHL.
and
And
why are we?
Maybe someone accidentally like deleted the 1 and they just saw one of the ones. 11 to 1.
I don't know.
That's not an excusable
Someone
mistake.
deleted
That's
one
crazy.
number.
First of all, the main issue I have here is we're raising President's Trophy banners. It's regular season award. Well, I guess they haven't won any.
They've done like division championships before when the NHL used to have
And
that.
they don't have any Stanley Cup banners to raise there in San Jose. So
that is a true fact. Yeah.
yet we'll see what happens there. But that's blooper of the week there for San Jose. But that's pretty fun.
You have to take it down, right?
Oh, 100%. You have to.
You can't just leave it up there the wrong year. Yeah, no, you got to take it down.
Maybe they just want to claim that they are and see if people notice,
That's worse than the Preds
The Californians
one.
won't
Yeah, I
notice.
agree.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
What was the Preds one that everyone, was it Stanley Cup finalist or something like that?
It was like a Western Conference. No, it wasn't Western Conference champions. It was like the regular season Western Conference champions or something.
Something
like that.
First in the
and
West,
that became like
yeah.
a joke for years of Preds banner memes back in the day. I remember that being a thing. That was pretty amusing. That's pretty funny stuff. But I mean, that's a Shark. So
Yeah, you're just asking to get memed on when you do stuff like that, though.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Yeah, the 2017-2018 Nashville Predators raised a regular season Western Conference Champions trophy.
Thank you. I figured there was something to do with
Champions of the regular season.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So does that mean that the Bears get to raise the off-season banners now?
We do it every year.
Well, the Preds, just like the Sharks, have never won a Stanley Cup. So I guess you find ways to invent banners to raise. So good for them.
Interesting enough, both of them were beat by Pittsburgh.
Both of them were beat by Pittsburgh. See, these are teams the Penguins had to play. They got to play the Sharks and the Predators, while we got stuck playing the Lightning, Flyers, and Bruins.
Yeah.
So, we're just built different. We're not the same. We are not the same.
We are not the same. I would
The
100%.
Flyers were a layup. Come on.
But the playoffs, they were dangerous
Yeah, I
that
know,
year.
I know.
Yeah. 13 Bruins were probably the second best team in the league that year. They definitely had something there. And Tampa, that was, before they brought on, they had a dynasty of their own almost, back to back.
Bruins sweep the Penguins in the East that year in 2013.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yes.
remembering that right?
And the
That's
Penguins,
crazy.
they had a really good regular season.
Yeah,
that year.
and they got swept in the Eastern Finals, which
They
was
had a
just
lot of
crazy to
playoff
me.
losses between 2009 and back to back. They had a lot of playoff failures.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we had some too. But
We all wanted to see the
Hawks, Penguins,
Kane and
yeah.
Taves versus Crosby
Never got
and
to see
Malkin.
it. Never got to see it. That's
Yeah.
a real shame, honestly. I think we would have taken that series just based off of if you look at regular season metrics, we always own them.
We could play the what if game. We could also play the what if about 2014 too. I mean,
Yeah, we could do that. all day.
It could have been a Hawks Habs Stanley Cup final. Imagine that in like 5 years.
Hawks. Yeah, well, I think we'll probably will see that in the future. Honestly.
I mean, that would be
Definitely see
unreal.
that. That'd be a fun one. That'd be a real original six callback. We had a few, and I think in the 70s too.
Yeah, but we weren't alive for that.
Yeah, we weren't around then,
Yeah.
so it'd be nice to see something in the current, and I'm sure Canadians fans appreciate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're still looking to bring a cup back to Montreal, and I
Come back to Canada too.
Hawks. I see a Hawks-Canadians rivalry being built there. I mean, there
Yeah.
already is some of the original six, but some of that's lost of different conferences and all. But I think we're both kind of on the rise at the same time. They're a year or two ahead of us, but I think we'll be meeting up with them in the future.
Yeah, especially you could market it as Bedard versus Demidov. I mean, that's right there. That is absolute cinema.
Or Doc versus Nazar.
That's Nazar is the hydrogen bomb, and Doc is the coughing baby. That's right. I don't think Doc's still going to be with the Canadians.
I don't think so either.
That's a topic for another time. All right, I think that's going to do it for today, folks. Good way to start the week here in CHR land. Looking forward to tomorrow. Blackhawks' first preseason game against the Detroit Red Wings, an old rivalry rekindled. Potential Bedard versus Kane matchup. We'll see what the lineup looks like for Detroit, if they'll be playing their starters like it appears we will. Remains to be seen. Normally, first preseason game, you kind of see a starting type of lineup, so we shall see. Looking forward to that very much. And just before we go, just a friendly reminder to subscribe to the YouTube. We're 974 subscribers. We gained one during the show. 26
we
away
gained
from
two and
1,000.
we lost one.
Shout out to
Yeah.
974.
Michael Hanzus away.
Exactly right. We're closing in. We're closing in. And just a friendly reminder: if you wherever you're listening to us on audio, Spotify, Apple, wherever, give us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate that a ton. That helps us out a lot.
Hype the video up
Yes.
after you're done watching.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
After the video is live, you
As
can-
soon as this goes live in a couple of minutes, why not?
for sure. Yeah. By the time you're watching this, it probably will be. So
Absolutely.
yes, that helps us out a ton. We really appreciate that. All right, we shall see you Wednesday back on the show. See you then.
See ya.
See ya.